kind of letting that go the way it's supposed to go. Actually, both movies have very similar messages. Only one of them does it well.
You know what though? Here's the thing. We're gonna give ourselves a little bit of a raise because we have already started. And here's the thing, folks. I didn't even know that we're unmuted, but now I do. And that's okay. But you know what though? Alan's starting off wrong. He's starting off wrong.
Since Corey's having a show today, does this make this a pre-show?
Fuck. Yeah, it does. That's alright. We're not ending off when Corey starts. Fuck that. That's not happening.
But I mean, like his is only for the Double Toasted website and patrons.
Yeah, no. And if he has a problem with that, Corey, guess what, man? Nothing. I can't say nothing to you. You bitch. No, anyways. Hey guys, how y'all doing? This is the Chat Tech. It's not a Double Toasted pre-show, unlike what Jet just said, even though technically it is. But let's not even pay attention to that shit. Alan, how
What's
are you
up?
doing as the whole world yells about a certain movie that I'm pretty sure, we'll get into it later, but I'm pretty sure you kind of thought was going to be good.
I was hoping it was going to be good. I'm not surprised. I feel like there's a lot of reasons outside the actual movie itself that people don't like it, and I think mostly I'm not again we'll get into it. I think this movie just has the worst timing in the world.
No, we'll talk about that in a bit. I'm not even going to bring it up now because I'm guaranteeing. Here's the thing, guys. I have Soul on here. Alan's going to talk about a couple of things having to do with his own stuff that he wants to do a review for. But Wonder Woman's going to be the bulk of this show because the amount of fucking rage that I want to go through is going to take fucking 2 pre-shows to get through that shit. So tonight's going to be a night that I'm going to piss you guys off. And to be honest, I don't give a fuck. Go fuck yourself. Anyways, JJ Panda, how you doing, man? Saw you on the Discord last night. Pretty cool to finally see you and everything. And hopefully life is doing good with you. And before we continue on, I just got to bring this up. This just really came to my attention from one of our old co-hosts, Trey Cooper, who used to do the wrestling show with me. But rest in peace, good old Brody Lee, man. I don't know what the fuck happened. This dude just barely hit, what'd you say earlier, Jet? 40 years old or something like that?
Yeah, it wasn't 40. You have to be either 39, 40.
Yeah, but this guy, this character, I remember talking shit about him actually last year because when he did show up in AEW, he was doing the whole Negan thing. He was pretty much reciting his entire storyline, blah, blah, blah. Or not storyline, but his whole script. And, as I was watching this, I was watching AEW lately because E-Mike, who's probably in the chat right now, has always asked me questions about AEW, and I've actually wondering, where is Brody Lee? What's going on? And someone over here said that he apparently died of lung disease or cancer, maybe. But I haven't seen him in a while, and it just sucks that at this point, especially with Corona going on, you just don't know when people are going to drop off, man, because believe it or not, as far as statistics go for this year, 40 isn't a crazy number to die from, man. Because, look at the whole thing with Debo, which got Tommy Lister when he passed away. It was just all these shocking deaths are happening, and I don't know if it has to do with pandemic-related stuff or just overall lacking of health, but man, dude, when you hear shit like this, Alan, does it bother you? Even if you don't know the celebrity, does it really kind of get under your skin as far as people young dying like this?
Yeah, and he was still doing shows and shit. It's the same thing like Chadwick Boseman of I'm not sure if he knew about this, if it was sudden. It could be a situation where he was hiding it like Chadwick was. But every time I hear one of these things, it's I always go to the same conclusion of you don't know how much time you got.
You really
could have tomorrow, you could have a week, you could have 20 years. You don't. So it's you have to always, you got to just take a breath, enjoy a moment, because
and that's Alan Review of Soul.
Yeah, no, legit, actually, because before we started,
all joking aside, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why, I guess we can kind of get into Soul soon, but my whole thing with Soul and looking at shit like this and hearing so many other things this year. Actually, I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, and Bill Burr brought this up about people in their deathbed and how there's always 2 different ways to go about it. One person's always man, I lived an amazing life, and it's fucking over, and it's sad, but it's beautiful because I got to enjoy everything. And then the worst part is those people that are just all that time wasted, just working constantly just to die.
You're always gonna have that I should have done this, I should have done that. There's never, even if you knew tomorrow how long you're gonna go, it's you'd rush to get a bunch of stuff done, but there's never enough time to get everything done. So at the end of it, just try to do whatever makes you happy in the moment.
But do you believe in that bucket list stuff? Do you think that those things should be achieved, or do you think people should probably put more stock into that stuff, or no?
It's weird because I quote unquote had a bucket list. It was just a bunch of stuff I wanted to get done, go to the States, beat Metroid Prime, stupid shit like that when I was a kid. Yeah, I wrote that down. I was a dumb kid. They told us to write 100 things we wanted to do before we died. It's actually extremely morbid now that I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
but it wrote the list. But I got most of that stuff done, but I'm still looking for shit to do now. Looking
Yeah.
for stuff to add to that. So it's like at the end of the day, it's like you always have to plan that you're gonna live forever, but just plan like you'll live for 100 years, but understand that you might not have that much time. Not saying you got to rush everything, but you have to take a moment. You have to take a breath. Again, Soul is a really poorly timed movie because holy shit, that's what the
Yeah.
whole movie's about.
And then
It's
literally
about
on
like
Christmas Day
yeah,
too. It was like fuck, like that movie hit me fucking hard, bro. But we'll talk about that in a bit.
yeah.
But here's the thing, Alan.
What's up?
Do you feel like this is too
Just,
soon to get
Soul,
into it?
just get Wonder Woman out of the way, man. I know you want to, and there's no way you're gonna talk about Soul and then have to go to Wonder Woman. Just start yelling.
Cause like, let me pull this
Fucking
fucking.
get it over with.
Cause I'm so fucking mad.
This movie's a 0 out of 10 because the arcade wasn't on and that game didn't come out for 3 years.
Oh
End of
man,
review.
how dare you? How fucking
No,
dare
dude,
you?
I laughed my ass off. I showed that text message to my buddy. I'm like, look, he does this a lot.
Man, I swear. Like, I'm sick of
I
this
love you,
shit,
man.
right?
I love you, man. And you
No,
sometimes
you
have
don't.
really good
No, you
points.
fucking
No,
don't.
no. I love you, dude. You sometimes have good points. But the amount of anger you have when movies or TV shows poorly represent video games is fucking
No,
hilarious.
because I'm not even that much of a nerd. I don't even like games that much.
Are
I
you
really don't.
sure?
I'm so sure I don't care about games that
Because when they
much.
fuck them up, you get mad. You're gonna go for 5 minutes about how this stupid fucking arcade game didn't come out for another 3 fucking years, just like with Street Fighter in fucking It Chapter 2.
No, it was Mortal Kombat. We'll get into all that because you're spoiling my
Where the
fucking
fuck that
review.
game was.
You're literally spoiling my fucking review. The thing is, we're
Shut
gonna
up,
get right into it.
fuck.
We're gonna get. I'm sorry. I just goddamn. Anyways, here's the thing, guys. Because it really isn't. I guess I'll talk about this now because there's no introduction I can do that isn't going to feel forced. I made a post about this, not even hiding at all what I thought about this movie because I had nothing but fucking hate and exhaustion. Exhaustion. For not only this movie, but just the entire idea of what a comic movie even counts as nowadays. And yes, Alan, that's going to be a big bulk of what we're going to talk about today. Me and you are going to be fucking clashing because of this whole fucking idea of what a comic book movie is and how the fact that every fucking comic book movie fan and every comic book fan in general just fucking allows all this bullshit to happen without ever saying, you know what, this shit's fucking garbage, it's fucking bullshit, because it's always like, well, hey, it's for kids when it's convenient to say so, or hey, at least they did this one thing right. Oh, well, this part was stupid because the comic books was stupid. It's like, no, make a fucking movie right. I can't stand this with DC or fucking Marvel. But the thing is, though, man, is like looking into something like this. And you guys, I don't know if you guys remember, but like I think I was the only person in the Chat Tag crew. And I think I hear something. Oh, Excalibur, thank you for following on Twitch. I really appreciate it. And I am sorry if I start fucking yelling. And I want to yell at you.
If
If I think I already started.
you're been yelling. Where's the if in this?
It's just like I think I was like the only dude in the Chat Tag panel or crew that fucking looked at the 2017 movie with just nothing but like hating the fuck out of it. And granted, there was merit that movie had, but at the same time, I was so irritated with the movie and the fact that I personally felt that anyone who did have something bad to say about it didn't want to say anything bad because it would be considered sexist. You know what I mean? You can't fucking say anything wrong about Wonder Woman or Black Panther unless you're either racist or sexist or whatever the case may be. So you gotta be like, no, good movie. That's a good one. Yes, that's a good baby right there. You did a fucking movie. It's like, dude, there's other fucking female movies, female-driven movies that are actually good. We don't have to kiss women's ass. They are legitimately great at making movies. But we gotta fucking kowtow to fucking Wonder Woman because this stupid bullshit and be like, oh, well, they can have their stupid shit too. No, not even men can have the stupid shit. When men do a bad Batman movie, everybody fucking hears about it. But this bullshit, this fucking Wonder Woman bullshit, everyone's gonna be like, oh, it's fine. Isn't it great that the women empowerment? No, it's not empowering if the fucking movie sucks, Patty Jenkins, you fucking asshole. So, Alan.
No, part 2 of your rant, because I'm assuming that you're gonna keep going.
I'm sorry. I hate the 2017 movie. I know.
Really?
I know in the fucking like Facebook, I told somebody I didn't hate the movie. I just really disliked it. You know what? No, that's a fucking like thesaurus word or synonym, whatever the fuck, to say basically that I do fucking hate it. I just didn't want to like argue with that guy on the internet. But the thing is, though, is like anyone who actually loves the Wonder Woman movie. Actually, I won't even talk shit in that sense too, because I want to give everyone a shot. Firstly, let's go around the table and just remind people and reiterate what we felt about Wonder Woman 2017. Not me, but I'm gonna start off with Jet. Jet, what do you remember liking about the 2017 movie, and have you seen it again since?
I rarely rewatch these movies. I thought it was just average.
Okay, yeah, I almost want to yell at you because I feel like you said it was better than average.
What? No.
Okay, all right. Now, Alan.
Why would I lie? You think I'm afraid you yelling at me?
I don't
I
know,
think- no,
Jet.
she might
I know
lie.
you
Jet-
pretty well. You have plenty of reasons, mostly for shits and giggles.
No, because
If
Jet.
I'm gonna lie, it's basically, poke fun
For
at something.
shits and giggles.
Yeah, I have no reason to do that in this situation.
I don't know, man. Nick's pretty mad, and that's fucking hilarious. So you have plenty of reasons.
And Excalibur, spoilers, fucking let them fly, bro. Anyone who doesn't want to watch this review because spoilers, just admit you don't want to watch us. Because the thing is, if you actually
I
think
mean,
that there's
Adrian
something-
already booked it, so
Yeah, but like I'm telling you, dude, this movie deserves to be spoiled because it spoiled my fucking evening. Or actually, it wasn't even an evening. It spoiled my whole fucking day in the middle of the fucking day. But Jet,
he also watched Soul, so this entire sentence is a lie.
Man, my whole Christmas was ruined.
This killed Christmas. No, but Jet, like, okay, when you saw the trailer that came out for this way back in like fucking the beginning of this year, did you have any expectations that were kind of like, what were your expectations?
I never have expectations for movies like this. Like most of the time, I forget the trailers even come out. Like I don't even really like watching trailers because like if I'm gonna watch a movie, I'd rather like not know too much about it.
Mm-hmm.
But since you forced me to watch this one, I'm pretty sure I basically said like, yeah, I'm tired of the '80s.
Oh God, yeah, I'm so fucking tired of the '80s. And this didn't help matters, but then it also kind of did help matters because at a certain point, we'll get into this later, but I was like, where's the '80s? I want more '80s. It became an issue. This movie's so fucking bad. I wanted more '80s.
That's you then. I'm tired.
But Alan, let's tell people that the hardships that our friendship had to go through when we first watched this together, sir.
I screamed at him because he wouldn't shut the goddamn fuck up. Shocker.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No. Nothing's changed. You
Yeah,
can't apologize if you're not planning to be any better.
no, because
So happy to watch the movie with you.
every fucking like 10 minutes for the 2017 movie, I started yelling, and I didn't mean to because we were watching this.
For random shit too. And I was trying to defend it and be like, well, what about this? Well, what about this? I'm like, well, shut the fuck up, Nick.
And he's not wrong. And usually I argue with Alan in these moments. Alan's telling the god honest fucking truth. There's nothing I can say to kind of combat whatever he's fucking saying. So there you go, Alan. I don't know how that feels to have me just admit that you're right. Okay.
Literally no change at all because I know you don't mean it.
I mean it. I really
I don't
do.
believe you.
But what'd you feel about this, man? Like, for one, have you watched the 2017 movie ever since we saw it back in the day?
Honestly, I watch clips of it every so often. Like, I legitimately like that movie. It's one of my favorite DCU movies, and partly because it has an incredible look at the character. A character I actually really don't like. I grew up on the animated series, and I always hated Wonder Woman. I always thought her powers were fucking stupid, and that she was only around for tits and ass. I legitimately did not like that character because her outfit was
around for tits and ass.
No, legit. Yeah, that's what she was always like. They literally had her in bondage.
I hated her outfit. That was majority of the reason I didn't like the character. I think her fucking lasso was absolutely fucking stupid. The fucking original show couldn't decide whether or not she could fly, was bulletproof or not. And if you're bulletproof, why do you need to fucking have the stupid fucking gauntlets that are indestructible? But if you have indestructible gauntlets and you can move your hand in front of a bullet, why not just dodge the bullet?
Mm-hmm.
What if what if it was the gauntlets that made her bulletproof though?
But even then, if you can move something in the way of a bullet, you're fast enough to move yourself out of the way of the bullet.
Exactly.
There's a lot of stuff
She
that
literally
I
has.
legitimately...
She has Spidey sense, like 1D sense.
Yeah, but it's like imagine Spidey sense where he just kind of moves something. It's like, okay, it'd be cool if someone's punching you in the face and you grab a pan. If you're fast enough to do that, you're fast enough to move out of the way of the fist.
Yeah.
It was something so ridiculous to me. So I legitimately, and people were like, no, watch this Wonder Woman movie. It's okay. Watch this. I still have my issues with the character, but when the live action movie came out, I'm like, well, do something interesting. And it did. It gave me an interesting look at the character. It took a very tried and true, genre, which is the fish out of water, and it did it really, really well. The characters are charming. I love Chris Pine in general, so I just assume any time he's on screen. I don't think Gal Gadot is the best actress, but both of them managed to hold the movie up, and it had some of the best action scenes I've seen in a superhero movie. That No Man Land scene, when she's holding back the fucking bullets with the shield, was fucking fantastic. The entire sequence when she's jumping through buildings was really, really well done. So I legitimately enjoyed the movie and the progression, and even the message the movie had. My biggest problem with the movie, and if I were to give it a rating real quick, I'd say it's a 7 out of 10. It would have been an 8. I think the ending is terrible. And only because they felt the need to have some big, giant CGI monster fight, where if they cut that out of the movie, it would have been way fucking better.
And
So
the
like,
CGI monster fight, I'm like, good. I was glad they fucking had that
I was terrible
because it's like
in
it was
every
the only
way.
thing in a comic
You
book
hate
movie.
it. Don't you lie to me. That shit was terrible, and you said that shit looks stupid.
No, it looks stupid, but I was like, I'm glad that it has something, because if not that, it's like a typical fucking, like, just a girl, like, I can prove the man wrong, I can do it. It's like, what the alright, like, by the way, they had to prove that, sweetheart. You fucking got many women. Look at the Terminator franchise, and look all the fucking douchebag
No,
dudes.
you should be fucking talking about Captain Marvel. Like, Wonder Woman actually manages to play it down. Where Captain Marvel, oh my god, like, I don't think that movie's as bad as everyone says it is, but as far as whatever message it wants to go for, it wore that on its sleeve, and it was annoying.
God, dude. And then, like, speaking of annoying, I just want to put out just the fact this character, Wonder Woman, the growth, you would think there'd be lots of growth with this next movie, but I took screenshots of things that just kind of pissed me off. This is the first screenshot I showed. She has a scene where she's yelling at Steve Trevor, what's his name again? Steve Trevor?
His name is Steve Trevor, you got it.
Okay, cool. I'm like wondering if, because like for one, once again, really great fucking name, guys. And this is just going back to the comics. I know that's his name in the comics, but like, wow, let's get two first white names. Steve Trevor. What's the next one? Jim Johns. You motherfuckers. Why don't you come with the fucking actual name?
Jim Johns is a person. Jeff Johns is also one of the writers of the
his
movie.
parents are fucking lazy. Come up with some other names. That's my
okay,
fucking...
Nick Diaz.
Well, yeah.
Fuck you. Like, and thank you for the afternoon too for subscribing to us with Prime. We apologize for shitting on this movie for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, honestly, I really appreciate the subscription. You're fucking awesome for that. Hopefully,
Really, Jim Jones is a rapper, according to M. Hundam.
Yeah. Wait, what's his name?
Oh yes, guess what, Nick? People have weird names in real life.
M. Hundam?
What? M. Hundam. That's what his fucking
No,
name is.
it's M. Hundama.
Oh, fuck off. Really? You're gonna give me fucking
yes
tips on how to fucking pronounce
I'm
someone's
not giving
name?
no tits at all, fucking prevert. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know. You seem to have enough to spare.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good burn. Fuck you.
I'll get back to fucking losing a couple more on the fucking
Damn,
movie.
he just said you got titties.
He said I got orangutan titties.
Why don't you lose a couple more about this fucking name of this character in a fucking movie? Jesus
No,
Christ.
the thing is, whatever. Fuck the whole. Steve Trevor basically is his fucking name. And in this movie, he's trying to tell her, and we'll get into the storylines and everything like that too. But god damn, there's so much ground to fucking cover here. But the thing is, though, is that he's talking to her like, hey, you know what we're doing is fucking wrong. We need to switch shit around, blah blah. And she's like, why for once can I just have one thing, Steve? One thing. It's like, you fucking bitch. You have superpowers. You can fucking fly. You have an infinite rope that never stops pulling you into fucking heaven. You get shot and it bounces off you like it's a fucking, like, popcorn
maybe she
kernel.
wants a little bit more in life, like having somebody that cares and loves for her. Having powers isn't all that cracked up to be.
Then give it to somebody who
That's lame.
What do you give it to somebody else? What the fuck does that mean?
God. Why for once can I just have one thing? You have everything. You're rich.
No, she doesn't. She
does.
mediocre
She's
life.
1,000 years old or something. She's like a fucking...
Yeah. She lives forever, and she would like to, spend a night with somebody. That would be nice.
Well, you know what, though, dude? Like, here's the thing.
That's lame. I want powers.
No, because this is where I get mad, too. It's like, people are going to watch the movie, including men. They're going to be like, wow, she just wants a little extra. I should be complaining about the smaller things, too. Like, for instance, like, dude, what if Steve Trevor never died and he just cheated on her? She's just going to be going around, I just want one thing. Just one thing.
Well, no, because again, you see throughout the movie where it's like she's living her mediocre life and she's kind of almost zombifying, going through between her job and just saving people. Which, yeah, she generally likes saving people because she, learned how much that people need protecting in the first one. But at the end of the day, when that's over, she has nothing. She has nothing going on in her life, and yeah, she wants the one person she ever actually loved to stick in her life. There's a lot of problems in this movie. This scene isn't one of them.
She's not willing to give any other dude a chance this whole fucking time. She's just been walking around being like, I missed you, Trevor.
You're
it's
upset
like,
that this woman
and
doesn't
by the way,
want
she's
to
only met
correct-
Steve Trevor for a week. She only knew him for fucking like a few days.
So fucking what? She
So
cares.
any
She cares
other
enough
movie-
about him.
Any other movie we'd be talking about, we'd be like, oh, bullshit. Like, this
What are you
person would fall
talking
in love
about? Do
with
you know
this
how many
person.
fucking times this is a common trope in movies?
Yeah, and we called
Terminator
them
1.
out. Yep, Terminator 1. Fuck yeah, Jet. God, I love you. Here's the fucking thing with Terminator 1. Sarah Connor falls in love within 2-3 days with fucking Kyle Reese. And the thing is, it's almost okay because of the fact that he saves her fucking life, right? And granted, this happens with Wonder Woman as well. But Sarah Connor is still a fucking 16-year-old, never got dick before. Like, they keep talking about how the fuck she's basically like a virgin or whatever. She doesn't have nobody in her life, nothing going on. All she knows is, I was working at fucking Wendy's, or the equivalent of Wendy's, and then a Terminator came, and he's Austrian, and I don't know what the fuck he's saying, but he's going to be really big one day, might be governor of California. That's what Sarah Connor was going through. Wonder Woman here has
And?
been alive for decades, and she can't get over one fucking guy that she only known for a few
She can't
days.
get over somebody that she cared for? One of the first people to actually show her that humanity is worth it? Like, I don't see the problem with that. I saw that. I'm like, oh, that, you know, I feel for her because, like, yeah, it's like you're obsessed with, oh, the 100 fucking years. Like, no, it's a situation where it's like, yeah, she can't get over somebody, and that's one of the issues she has as far as her character flaw. Her character flaw is she can't get over Steve Trevor, somebody that actually showed her the beauty of humanity. Like, I do not see your problem with this. When there's better problems in this movie, like problems that the movie creates for no fucking reason at all. It's like involving Steve Trevor, which I guess if we're going into fucking spoilers, the fucking one of the dumbest plot devices I've ever seen in my entire fucking life, the magic wish stone, where as soon as someone touches it, they get a wish, and Steve Trevor comes back. I'm like, oh, okay. They managed to do some interesting stuff with that stone later, but I'm like, okay, they wished him back, cool. For some fucking reason, he's in a different person's body. It never gets explained. It never gets brought up. It gets brought up once and then never talked about for the entire fucking movie. And there's no point to him being in a different body. I literally talking about it. I'm like, why did it matter that it was a different body in any way, shape, or form?
And that's the thing, because we'll get into that too, I guess.
That's a huge problem in the movie that I don't know why you're not talking about that.
Well, no, because there's just so much.
Name is dumb.
No, there's so much. like here's the biggest thing too. Just to kind of get right into it, man. This movie, I think the biggest thing I hate about this fucking movie, it's a premise alone, the fact that it's in 1984, because halfway through this movie, it doesn't matter that it's 1984. I don't like 80s nostalgia films because on top of being lazy and being cheap in order to garner its attention from fucking people that are old, I mean, literally, it's just for people that are fucking old, right? Its audience praise is just because, you know, like, I guess another way to fucking say this, you know, for me, I wasn't born in the 80s. I was born in 89, so obviously it doesn't really count. Not an 80s baby, right? Nope. But being born early enough to remember years such as 91 and 92, I can tell you that there's shit in here that doesn't respect the 80s and, in fact, just steals shit from the 80s to appropriate its time and style. But only enough to get you to give you this movie as an 80s movie so you can watch it. But not enough for you to actually be like, wow, this is authentic 80s. This is accurate. Nothing in here is accurate at all. That's the fucking issue I have with this, too. Like, there's a part, and this is the thing that Alan was talking to me about earlier, trying to make fun of me and shit, but no, I'm going to talk about this on the show, too, goddammit.
Oh, guys, get ready for the next 5 minutes of the biggest nitpick you'll ever hear in your entire life.
Dude, no, this is not a nitpick.
And for the people that remember the Shazam review, this is round 2.
Oh, I'm going to bring Shazam 2, baby.
I know you were, because you're predictable as fuck.
Sorry that fucking legitimate concerns of a fucking movie.
Legitimate? Oh, my God. By the way, someone clicked that shit. This is a legitimate concern.
Yeah, and no, I don't want to become famous. I don't want to buy followers. God damn it, JD.
Damn you, JD. 158 Sim 6.
Yeah.
I wonder if I clicked that.
But do you have live nudes?
Is that Premier Viewer? What the fuck does that mean?
Viewer, I don't know. That dude. Man, he do
probably delete that motherfucker out of here.
I know. I'll try to right now. I just forgot how. So, yeah, Ryan, if you're there, please get rid of him. But here's the thing, though. For example, and Chad, you guys can make fun of me, but here's the thing, though. The fact that you're probably not going to agree with me, you fucking people are just willing to just say okay to any bullshit, right? But there's a part in this movie. There's a part in this movie in the very beginning. They go into the fucking mall, and there's a kid that walks into an arcade, okay? And here is a screenshot right here. Now, the kid's coming in with a drink and a bunch of shit in his hand, has food as he walks in. For one, back in the day, they don't do that. Imagine how many fucking machines would break if all the kids can just walk in with drinks and food. That will not fucking happen, okay? And I was young enough to remember the shit. I used to go to arcades when I was 2, 3, and 4 years old. I used to shit my pants in that fucking place. I know it's not like that. Another thing, see the kid shooting the gun is almost like that Terminator game right next to the game called Operation Wolf on the right side? Sure. There's nothing on fucking screen.
Oh, what?
Dude.
Why does that matter?
Is it too hard to put the fucking something on the screen?
Why does that matter?
Because they're in an arcade.
So what? It was shown in an arcade for 2 seconds.
Oh, you gotta get the you gotta.
But why does that matter?
How does that not drive you crazy?
Because it doesn't fucking matter. Because there's like I saw that I remember I saw the text because I saw the movie like 4 hours after you did, and I was like, cool, let me take a look at it. Oh, there's nothing on screen. And so what? Like it's not that big of a deal. Because when you brought up the fucking Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat thing, that didn't come out till 2+ years later. I'm like, okay, man, that movie it went on for a little bit longer, so I can almost see why you're mad at the It Chapter 2, I can almost understand why you're a little bit mad at that because it goes on for like 5-10 fucking
Lower right
minutes.
corner of the screen, by the way, dude. That's not a fucking. That's not the video game. It's a cover. It's like the thing that they have, like that tells you the manuals of the game, that tells you how to play. That's what that is. Sure. That's not the game. Like I'm telling you, this game is above that. Like it's old CRT TVs. Like it's fucking. Trust me, I worked at a fucking arcade place. It's not.
I know. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you. You know, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. I don't give a fuck. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Okay, here's another thing, and this is all attention to detail, guys. Because when shit happens like that in the very, very beginning of a movie, and this whole movie is called 1984, then it's like, okay. Now everything that you're going to show here that's supposed to be 80s authentic is going to be bullshit because you can't even get this fucking simple thing right. Another thing, the fucking Operation Wolf game that's here, that wasn't out in 1984. It came out in 1987. All right? Now the reason why, and you're probably thinking like, oh, come on, Nick. I mean, what the fuck? What's the problem with that? There are so many fucking video games that came out in the 80s. 80s was a huge year for fucking arcades. You can't tell me that you fucking morons. I mean, for one, why was it even called 1984? There's nothing that needs to be specific to 1984 in this movie. But if you're going to do it, I'm like, okay, well, you did it because you have a love for the 84. They don't have no love for 84. Because they can't even do something as simple as put a game that came out that fucking year.
Okay, I'm going to cut you off because I hate you. He does have a point. There is nothing in this movie that signifies the time period. However, except for two things. One, the fact that nobody, barely anyone can get a proper look at Wonder Woman because she's able to take out the cameras. She's able to continue doing her stuff and nobody really knows she's around is because it's the 80s and nobody really has cameras. They can only get a visual description of, hey, this woman in this red and blue outfit with a tiara and a rope. That's all they can really do. And she takes out cameras and all that stuff. That's how she's able to keep her identity. Outside of that, you could have set this movie at any time period. So it being called Wonder Woman 84 is really, I don't necessarily think it's a problem, but it's kind of a misnomer because there's absolutely nothing in this movie that resembles the 80s in any way, shape, or form. Like that, the reason that arcade thing didn't bother me at all is because I was like, oh, okay, it's an arcade, cool. And then what else does this movie have? Literally nothing. Like,
yeah, like what about
Wonder
the music?
Woman 2.
And I know music is expensive nowadays. There's a bunch of shit going on with the FDA or whatever. But like, dude, you guys are Warner Brothers. You guys can afford to put a couple of fucking jams, dude. Look at the movie Breakin' and Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo. You could have stole that whole fucking movie and put it in this movie. It would have been fine. Let me see dudes with booty shorts from the 80s. They all look fucking gay, which is not a bad thing, by the way, to put that out there. But it's like, dude, like that was a whole thing with the 80s. People used to make fun of people wearing vibrant yellow, red shirts and jerry curls. There's no black. For one, there's barely any black dudes in the movie. And by the way, the 80s and early 90s is all black-centric. Most of the trends that came out around the time was a lot of black, Puerto Rican, and shit like that. Like lots of like the music and fucking like, I mean, post-disco shit. That's a lot of black stuff. There's barely any black people in this movie. What? Why not?
I don't know how they would have even incorporated the 80s into the plot because and that's the thing. I really don't hate the 80s, but I'm tired of the whole thing. Oh, we got to send the 80s to get nostalgic. I'm like, I never really cared about the decade because, like Nick, I was born in the 90s, so I don't give a fuck about the 80s. But like at the end of it, it's like this could have been called Wonder Woman 94, and it wouldn't have made a difference as far as I mean, it would have fixed Nick's problem of the arcade video game, which was the crux of the entire movie apparently. But
well, no, there's just so much more. But like even the fanny packs, like dude, I was around in the 90s. That didn't start becoming anything until like the 95 to the 99 or whatever.
Oh, people have fanny packs. People love fanny packs, man.
Well, yeah, but not in the 80s. Military.
I don't know. I'm sure fanny packs were around the 80s.
But like these things you can look up. They're well documented. Have you? I mean, there's a guy who made Patty Jenkins. Did you not watch VH1 back in the 80s? Did you not like see like? You know, they have shows that document.
I mean,
all
it says that they were in fashion in 80, so it's like people would have worn them.
But it's fucking, it's stupid. And Jay, I'm gonna ask you really quick. I know you don't give a shit about the 80s, but did any of this kind of bother you? Where you're like, yo, where's all the trends that black people came up with? Where's all the music? Where's all the clothing? Like, was it any of this kind of an issue with you as far as this inauthenticity? I fucked that word up.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I really wasn't paying that much attention to this because I was bored out of my mind watching this movie.
Okay. I thought you were saying not paying attention to me. He's like, I don't know what the fuck you just said, Nick.
I don't pay. Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
No, but like the inauthenticity is.
Plus, I wasn't born in the 80s. Like, I wouldn't have been able to pick out that much stuff except maybe like some hairstyles or whatever. Otherwise, like that arcade shit you're talking about, I wouldn't pick up on. A lot of the style choices, besides some obvious ones, I wouldn't have been able to pick out. So, like, I wouldn't have been able to tell. This wasn't the 80s. Besides those couple things.
and this is where I get really nerdy too, to bring this up, but there's even a scene where they go to this guy who basically is a Mayan, and he knows a lot about the stone that Alan was referring to earlier. And there's a point here where they bring it up, and this is one of my favorite commentators of all time, Jerry Lawler. He's still on WWE television today, okay? This guy is very, very important. And he was really big in the 80s doing Memphis television, etc. Memphis wrestling. He had his own, he was the champion, and he owned the promotion. So the fact that someone put this in here must have been a wrestling fan. But the scene before they show this is this really boring, annoying fucking scene, and we'll get into it in a little while too, but they bring up this power that Wonder Woman has, and she's in the fucking sky with Steve Trevor, and the reason why this is happening, this big romantic, fucking fantastical, stupid moment that lasts way too long, is because it's July 4th. And this means a lot to Steve Trevor because he was in the Army, he cares a lot about Independence Day, etc. Right, Alan? Or am I wrong for that?
Sure. Yeah, no. I'll stop you when you're wrong.
Okay, so July 4th, big fucking deal. The next day, or maybe like 2 days later, the morning, they go and meet with Barbara, who's going to become Cheetah later on in this movie. They meet down and they do a zoom in, for no reason, on this magazine, this particular magazine. This did not come out in July of fucking 84. It came out in August, right? And I know it's a month off, but now this movie's being cocky like, oh man, we're so authentic, we're going to show the magazine that came out. Wait, what's up? What happened?
Little nipple.
Yeah, that is a tiny little nipple right there. And I know there's importance in that scene, and we'll get into that later. I'm going to have Alan pretty much do a lot of the talking about, like, you know, why some of these things are important as far as, like, the storyline goes. But for me, the movie is doing this weird, like, cocky thing of, like, man, we're so authentic, we're going to showcase, like, the magazine that came out. We're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And it's like, dude, like, you guys can't even handle just simple shit as far as, like, fucking getting the right arcades right, or even the month that magazine came out, and you're proud of it? You literally took time to get the cameraman, hey man, come over here, check this magazine out. God damn, we're good, aren't we? You motherfuckers, it took a simple Google search. And you fucking, how much money has been put into Wonder Woman 1984? How much fucking money did you motherfuckers get? And not to mention the movie sucks and everything else about this movie sucks, but you can't even do a fucking magazine right. Are you fucking serious?
All I'm going to say is somebody call up Cinema Sins. We have a new writer.
God fucking damn it.
You gotta watch Cinema Sins, because man, that's why all that shit does bother me. It's like, look, is it a fucking inconsistency? Of course it is. Is it a dumb inconsistency? Of course it is. Does it matter? Overall, no. In any way, shape, or form. It does not matter. They're like the inconsistencies that actually impact the plot of the movie stood out to me way more than the inconsistencies that had almost nothing to do with the movie. To the extent where I don't have almost no fucking idea what you're talking about, because I don't remember seeing that magazine. I don't remember, like, I watched it. I watched it in literally the only theater in my city that was open, because we want to see it on the big screen. So it's like I didn't fucking sit there with a fine tooth comb.
You paid money for this?
I didn't. But someone else did.
I did, by the way. That's why I'm fucking mad. I did pay money for this, guys. I didn't fucking pirate this. I watched this on HBO Max, and the reason why I got HBO Max was because this day. So I'm really fucking irritated that they got fucking, I don't even know how much the shit costs, like $8 worth of fuck out of me, because I'm fucking stupid. But here's the biggest thing about this too, is because we're still on, by the way, of lacking of details, and now we're gonna get morally into the fucking details. So I want to show you something, Alan, that should probably piss you the fuck off. One of the things we've been complaining about a lot of these movies is how they treat Israeli people and Arab people in fucking movies. Explain to me here that this fucking thing over here, do you remember this scene at all, Alan?
Yeah, fuck yeah. That entire dude showing up with the oil, yeah?
Yeah. So they're bringing up the oil shit again, and in a way of like, oh, we gotta fuck them over or whatever. But the thing is that the way you bring this guy up, he's very, very stereotypical the way he talks. He's very, very villainous. Actually fucks Max Lord over in the sense, because he's more villainous than our main villain. And it's all about, oh, well, I need to have all my Israeli people come back, and we gotta return our land, and no one can come in, and blah, blah, blah. He's saying all this fucked up shit, gets screwed over right afterwards. But let's dig deeper. Right after this scene, there's a big-ass chase scene, which was actually a pretty good choreographed fucking scene, right? It was all right.
No, it wasn't. Like, people in the chat, like, can we talk about the actual plot problems? That sequence was terrible.
You're probably right, but let's talk about this. In this fucking scene, and I'm going to read this thing. This was actually sent to me through from Roxy, by the way. So I didn't even notice this at first. But somebody on Twitter or whatever this thing is here, they said they really had a scene in Wonder Woman where Gal Gadot saves 4 kids playing soccer from getting hit with a missile. Are they out of their fucking minds? And by the way, it says, if you're not fully understanding why this is so grotesque, in 2014, 4 young boys were killed by an Israeli mortar strike while playing soccer on the Gaza beach during a bombing campaign that Gal Gadot was vocally supportive of. But in this
Oh.
comic book bullshit, it's okay because hey, they're not American kids, so we can just fucking comic book some serious shit happening where kids fucking died. You see what I'm saying? They couldn't do something as simple as morally just check into what the fuck they're doing. Because, man, we gotta have a stupid-ass fucking scene in the desert and fuck shit up over there like every other movie that does this because, man, Arab people and Israeli people and anyone who's not fucking American, well, they're just a bunch of trash anyways, right? We can just do whatever the fuck we want in their country, do all this other shit because America. That's bullshit, dude.
I mean, if I'm getting mad at that, Iron Man 1 sucks.
Yeah, no, but you know what?
But like, I get what you mean, and you bring up a lot of. This is the only time this entire review you brought up a legitimate point. This is a situation in which I'm not sure if it was intentional, but it should be a situation where they should have known. It's like, hey, if we're gonna do a sequence where she's saving kids, because that's the whole point of that. I say at the end of the day, she cares more about saving people than not. They probably shouldn't have got something that's very tonally or imagery similar to an actual event that happens. That is very, very dangerous because, yeah, the average person is not really going to know that. But as soon as they look it up, it's like, oh, okay, this is kind of strange. So it's like, but then again, if I'm going to get mad at the treatment of Arabs in a comic book movie, then Iron Man 1 is terrible.
Yeah, and you're right. But one other thing about lack of attention of detail, and this is actually about the storyline, so this is going to be our segue to get back into the fucking actual movie here.
Oh, really?
But there's a part here that pisses me off. But the entire premise of The Return of Steve Trevor is the fact that Wonder Woman brought him back from the dead, but somehow he needs to take over a person's body because whatever, right?
They never explain it.
Yeah, literally, this random man is being pretty much possessed by Trevor's like soul, and he's now getting together with Wonder Woman, who literally fucks him. And keep in mind, guys, there's no explaining where the original consciousness of the dude's body went to that Steve Trevor took over. So Wonder Woman essentially is having sex with someone who doesn't have control of their body. Now, that has to be some type of fucking rape or something. But the fact that literally she's having sex with this body that doesn't belong to Steve Trevor, and then they're taking over his apartment, and Steve Trevor is wearing his clothes, all this shit never is brought up as a joke to kind of like add some levity to it or to be like, no, we know how ridiculous this is. They just don't explain it. How the fuck am I supposed to be into this movie where just a person's face or the likeness or whatever takes over another human being where the original human being just ceases to exist? Is there like a purgatory or like...
No, it never gets brought up. It's for people that remember my Rise of Skywalker review, I had a very simple thing of if the movie doesn't care, I don't care. So I could keep yelling at the movie, but if the movie doesn't, and that's usually when I don't like a fucking movie. Because again, you do not want to hear me rant about how Days of Future Past is one of the dumbest fucking movies. Holy shit! I could go on for as long as he's going on for Wonder Woman on that stupid magazine and how stupid that movie is. But with this, it's like, yeah, that was legitimately bothering me. I'm like, so you brought this up, it plays nothing to the plot at all, to the extent where you could have edited it out and it wouldn't have mattered. So eventually, got to the point where I just fucking forgot about it because the movie never brings it up. And it's like all these little things. Like, well, isn't this? Isn't this that? The movie doesn't care, so I don't.
Yeah, and it goes back to this part right here. This fucking screenshot is the reason why I took it. Why, for once, can I just have this one thing, Steve? You mean the continual death of someone who you don't even fucking know because you just want to fuck this dude because you can't get over it? You know how many people in life get over death in their fucking families and death being cheated on or whatever?
Damn it, Nick. We're on the same side for 2 seconds, and then you go off. It's like... this situation is like, yeah, she's
a fucking crybaby. She's a little crybaby ass fucking little girl.
She has her own trauma that she doesn't want to fucking let go. That's always been her problem. It's her character flaw is she can't accept reality. So she's always trying to find a way to cheat. That's why at the start of the movie has her fucking cheating in the Olympic race, because that for her, she doesn't like the idea of having to lose, or that's an option. Like, that's a pretty decent character flaw.
But she's literally cheating the system now. She went.
Yeah,
she wished the stone.
That's what I mean, though. See, that's what eventually she learns over the course of the movie. It's like, well, she can't cheat the system. So she ends up having to lose the person that she loves, even though, because again, it's costing her like her abilities over the course of the movie and stuff. And she's like, no, fuck that shit. I don't give a goddamn fuck. Like that's the situation. Oh, give up her powers. I mean, she does. She's literally like, I don't give a fuck about losing my powers. I have you. So it's like that's not necessarily an issue. But to talk about the legitimate problems of this movie is, this movie has one of the dumbest plot MacGuffins and plot items I've ever seen in a movie. The wishing stone.
Yeah, what do you feel about that, Jet?
No, I said, what the hell's a MacGuffin?
Oh, that's why I restated.
I thought it was an egg McMuffin that he was talking about.
MacGuffin is an old movie term that people created. Is the entire movie's plot is focused on getting an item, so they call it a MacGuffin. It's like the Lord of the Rings, the actual ring. In the event, in Thor, it's his hammer, the Tesseract. Like those are they call him MacGuffin or the MacGruber in Spider-Verse.
And McGriddle.
McGriddle, whatever.
Yeah. But no, you're right about that being an issue too. But before we continue on that, I just want to get Jet's point because right away, Jet, I want to ask you, was it an issue for you too, just as far as what the whole premise surrounding around that stone is? Because me and Al are going to go back and forth a lot probably. I know I'm going to argue with him on this. But before we continue on, what do you feel about the wishing stone?
I absolutely fucking hated it. I think it was one of the worst plot devices used in a movie in a very, very long time.
Agreed.
And I hope nothing like that gets used again in one of these movies.
Yeah, especially like...
Because like even using it like throughout the movie, it just didn't make much sense going like the further it went on.
It's one of those things where it really bothered me because they're essentially going for what people don't know is over the course of a random robbery, there's this stone that gets shown up, and nobody really knows what it's about. And then one of the characters starts reading it, and it's in Latin. And luckily, because of the Greek background of Diana, she's able to read the language. And what it basically sums up as a wishing stone. As soon as someone grabs it, they get a wish, and they get their deepest desire. And that's how Steve gets back. That's how a lot of the movie's plot goes up. So it's essentially trying to do the monkey's paw. But the problem is it's so unbelievably vague and stupid that the first time you see it, some guy goes, I wish I had a coffee, and touches the stone and gets a coffee 2 seconds later. And it's treated off as a joke. So when the main characters essentially get their wishes, things start happening. Their stakes are so low that they don't give a fuck. Literally, at one point, she goes, we should really figure out how you came back, Steve, after they had a night of fucking. And they're like, well, I guess. And then they go through a pretty decent montage of him, discovering the future. But there's so little agency in the movie that this becomes kind of just a joke of like, I can't believe this is the plot. It's not until...
Also, for something so powerful to be given to someone else so easily and so dumb. Like, this is like, like an hour or so into maybe like 40 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
It's obvious that this thing is really fucking powerful. And how it even gets into the main villain's hands was so fucking stupid and infuriating.
It's also lack of attention to detail where it's like the whole idea, guys, is that because like here's the thing, this is where I'll compare this to Spider-Man 3, where like Spider-Man 3, everyone hates that fucking dancing with Peter Parker, right? It's like really stupid. I kind of like it too, but people hate it. But the thing is though, what people don't understand about that scene is because believe it or not, and Spider-Man's fucked up beyond belief. I fucking hate what they did with Spider-Man, but at least in that movie, that actually fits the story. That shit, that the Venom, whatever the fuck's up, that's getting onto Peter Parker, it's literally just the opposite of who he is. So what is the opposite of Peter Parker? He's always like closed, like I don't want to do anything. I'm scared.
He's closed off nerd. So when the symbiote brings out the best of him, or brings out the worst of him,
he's gonna be goofy and shit and dance, and yeah,
exactly.
It makes perfect fucking sense. And this movie, Barbara, who becomes Cheetah, whatever the fuck. Oh god, I'm so fucking. We'll get into that.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I hate her in this movie.
Me too.
I cannot stand her. I think she is the worst part of this entire movie. Well, no. So it's the second worst part in this entire movie.
But the thing is about that is when they started off with the wishing stone, because I'm gonna go. This is all leading to what Jet's point was about how Max Lord, aka Pedro Pascal, how he ends up getting his hands on this fucking thing. Because the way it starts off, Barbara is just fucking just like what Peter Parker is, just really scared. Everyone thinks she's ugly, blah, blah, blah. And her wish is to be just like Diana. Well, explain to me how that works, because anytime anybody else wishes something, they get the shit instantaneously to the point where a whole wall comes out of the fucking ground and entraps an entire fucking country, city, whatever the fuck it is, right? But for Barbara, she's slowly becoming like Diana, like to an extent where she's still unsure of herself. Diana is not unsure of herself. Diana is fucking Wonder Woman. So when Barbara is like Diana, why are you still like, I don't think this dress fits me?
It's one of those things where it's slow, even though, because people get their power, people get their wishes instantaneously versus like over a little bit. With her, she still had the power, but her mindset didn't change. I want to be like Diana, not saying I want to be Diana. So that's how I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like her body is slowly changing, just like, again, you brought up Spider-Man. It's very similar to Spider-Man when he gets bit by the spider. He doesn't instantly get all this stuff. He has to essentially train his body. For her, she doesn't realize it.
Spider-Man knew well enough to just kind of gradually build because it was a good movie. While you have this horse shit where they're like, you know what? we're going to take our time with this and be completely inconsistent and lacking of detail like everything else, because later on in the fucking movie, there's a guy who just says, I wish you will just have a heart attack and die. And the person dies, and her back and forth with him, she goes, I hope all you Irish people go back to where you came from. And he's like, oh shit, that was rude. And everyone outside is getting sent back, but he's just standing there. It's like, did you guys explain, like, maybe I'm working on 56K modem fucking brain logic here? Like, what? Like, how the fuck does two people in the same room say, I wish something on you at the same time, and yet someone gets theirs fucking 2-day Amazon Prime shipping and the other person doesn't?
It's a different situation. Like, it's a different
There's another problem within that whole scene. Like, I wish you'd get a heart attack. So, since we're doing spoilers...
Oh yeah,
it has to do with the ending of the movie. You can't take that wish back. That bitch is dead.
Yeah,
actually,
so what are you gonna do?
What's
what's gonna happen? You're gonna have like another like Diana and Steve situation. So what's going on here? You can't take that wish back.
Yeah, and like literally, you watch Soul, and I'm like, you know what's funny? The same thing kind of happened with Soul, and Soul explains it. Soul actually explains it. Soul's busting its ass so fucking hard that it's explaining shit that this movie fucking does. Like, what the fuck? So, yeah, that scene. And here's another thing with the scene at the ending of the movie. We'll go back into this later on when we talk about Pedro Pascal's character, but, like, his character being the main villain.
Was there something you wanted to say about that scene, Alan? It seemed like you wanted to...
Oh, no, it's all good.
Okay. Well, no, because, like, about that, like, do you feel like, someone can come back from a heart attack?
Oh, I mean, actually, yeah, because they renounced a bunch of the wishes, and it's like, yeah, if he renounced the wish, technically she would come back. He basically said, I want you to drop dead. It's very inconsistent especially the ending. There are a lot of inconsistencies in this movie. That's why I'm not necessarily arguing with you. I don't think necessarily that one is, especially as how the powers work, because different people get affected at different times. So that's why it wasn't that big of a deal for me. It's like, okay, she's slowly changing as her body's slowly adjusting to it, versus a lot of the other stuff, which was pretty simple.
And so that makes sense. He says, well, when Sheena made her wish, it was the Wishmaker. The Wishmaker was a stone, and it wasn't Max Lord that actually ends up happening. We'll get into that right now, too. But the thing is, though, is like, even with that, other people got shit right away with the wishing stone. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. It's like, and then that was also before Max Lord as well. Like, for instance, the coffee thing you brought up earlier, too. It's like, or even Wonder Woman with the Steve Trevor thing. It's like, apparently he took over that dude's body and just started walking around like, oh, I wonder what Wonder Woman is. Which, by the way, doesn't explain anything there. He says, oh, I read the newspaper and saw that you're alive, so I know where you live. It's like,
well, no, they literally point out they looked at a phone book.
Still, it's like... For one, and by the way, doesn't this dude, he doesn't even know what a fucking trash can is, but he knows how to go through a phone book?
I mean, he actually does explain that immediately. Stuff is future-proof, because they would have had a version of looking through the numbers. He should probably about, hey, holy shit, phones work fast. That's the only thing he didn't mention, but he does mention, like,
I wasn't able to fly the plane, Alan.
He's a fighter pilot.
No, the problem is, like, it's been, what, like, 30 years? Okay, like, there's gonna be advances with the fucking plane. How does he still know how to fly that plane?
I mean, it depends. I'd have to look into it. There are way more problems with that plane scene than him being able to fly it. I don't know aeronautics on top of my head, but I'm sure that
I know for a goddamn fact you would not be able to fly that goddamn plane like that. It's been 30 years. 30 goddamn years.
How about this? If that's not how radar works.
Wait, what?
You can turn your plane invisible. And okay, but by the way, we're just jumping all over the place. I want to have a nitpick because Nick got to have a nitpick about a stupid fucking arcade system. So if anyone calls me out for this stupid bullshit, fuck y'all, because you let that motherfucker talk about arcade for 10 fucking minutes. Radar works whether or not it's visible or not. It works on the fact that
you're right. Yeah,
bounce off fucking objects.
Wow.
Look at a stealth fighter. Stealth fighters are fucking black because it absorbs the fucking light. And that way it can't reflect the radio waves, which guess what? Radio waves are just a different frequency of light. The fact that you're invisible still means you're on radar.
Yep. Thank you.
That's not how no, unless and the thing is, we know that's not a situation where she just evaporates from reality because we see the fact that she goes through clouds and shit. That's not how radar works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, honestly, I'm so glad you brought that up because I missed that. And I remember seeing that like, wait, because
I almost walked out of the movie because I was like, oh, if they bring the invisible jet in, I'm out.
No, when that happened, Allie told me before, she was like, oh, once you get to this time, whatever, and that's where it was. She was like, you're going to lose your fucking mind. I wish I was in the call listening. But after that, I was eating popcorn. I was like, you gotta move. You're
having the power of invisibility. I'm like, okay, that's an interesting way to get that going. That's fine. But it's the fact that that's not how radar fucking works. Like I know that's a nitpick just as much as that arcade thing is. But again,
No, but
like
it's not a nitpick because that's an essential piece of what's going on. They need to make to a certain place, and they need to make sure they're hidden. Radars don't work like that. If they did an accurate depiction of how a simple thing like a radar fucking works, that even you can call this out, Alan, that would be a complete fuckery on all their plans for the second half of that movie. That could have been a whole other plot point. Like, oh shit, they still saw us. Now we gotta get rid of it. Like, dude, like, that's not a nitpick. You're absolutely right. I know.
They could have easily just had it where, like, I'm sure someone says, well, it's actually magic, so whatever. I don't take that as a fucking viable excuse. Don't throw magic at me and tell me that's an explanation. That's fucking lazy. Like, yeah. I don't sit there and spend fucking a lot of time trying to explain a lot of the stuff in movies using in-movie stuff for someone to be like, don't worry about it, don't think about it, it's just a comic book movie. That's lazy writing. I'm sorry.
And that's
it doesn't work for me, but I was looking at this going, what the fuck?
And that's the biggest thing about this too. That and the reason why I was bringing all the things up as far as the details go, because I actually did write some of this shit down, guys. Okay, I actually have a bullet list that I'm going by and reading on the side over here because it's like I want to show why I hate comic book movies. Because this is the whole reason why. And I hear people like Martin Thomas, and yeah, I'm calling Double Toasted out. Yeah, Martin Thomas. Like, you fucking talk about wrestling is stupid, anime is stupid. Look at this shit. You say, oh, I can't believe I can't believe grown people take this whatever the fuck serious with the wrestling or the anime. But it's like, you look at this, they have every cheat sheet available to them. They got Google. They got fucking rights to certain music from the 80s. They have the option of not calling this 1984. They had the option saying, they could have just called Wonder Woman Returns or Wonder Woman 80s. And they could have avoided all this shit. You know what I mean? You could have did something as simple as
1985.
No, like it's legit.
20,000 years in the future.
Why not Wonder Woman versus Cheetah? You know, or Wonder Woman.
Well, man, if that was called that, holy shit, this movie sucks. Because fucking great.
Yeah, or Wonder Woman 2. Just
Revenge
Wonder Woman 2. Like anything. And it's like,
yeah, it is weird they called it 84, and I'm not even really sure why.
Yeah, because half the movie it does not, like, it stops being 80s movies right at the hour mark. And this movie's 2.5 hours, so there's more movie that's not 80s than the movie that's fucking 80s. Like, god damn it. And they could have called this Wonder Woman Max Perfect Zealot. They could have called this Wonder Woman Max on HBO Max. It would have been like Nintendo 64 with Mario 64. It would have been fucking perfect. Max Lord, like, like, he's a main villain, and it's called Wonder Woman Max. Fucking A. But no, they can't fucking do that. Like, oh my god. And then, like, the biggest thing I hate, and this goes to the whole comic book movie thing, is they don't respect themselves. And they don't respect the fucking fans. Because they don't explain anything to you guys. There's even, when she's breaking the cameras and shit in the very beginning of the movie. And the reason why is because she don't want her identities seen, right? Because, superhero shit, it can't be known as a superhero because that'd be just too fucking convenient. Tell me why she doesn't wear a fucking mask and she wears barely any fucking clothes. Please, people, I want to look beautiful. Look at me. Look at my fucking face.
Well, no, she's wearing a battle fucking. She's wearing literally the same thing that Greek and Roman fighters were there. Actually, that's the only thing about the Wonder Woman that I like as far as the change of the character. They actually decided to make her dress up the way people would have dressed up around that time. Because if you look up Roman gladiator, but Roman and Greek troops, they wore the battle skirts. That's what they wore into battle. As far as the her not wearing a mask, well, the character never wear a mask, much like how Superman doesn't wear a mask.
But then take off the part where she hits the cameras. That's it.
Well, that's the thing. She is trying to hide her identity, and that's and she works a random fucking job that nobody knows. So it's like she is trying to hide her identity because you don't want a situation where a bunch of motherfuckers run up on your house.
No, but she doesn't either because the way Steve Trevor found her is through the fucking newspaper because she had to put her shit out there like, I got this beautiful museum.
He knows her. He knows her name. No one's going to sit there and be like, hey, that's that random woman that I've never actually met because her job requires her to stay inside.
No, isn't her whole thing like she owns a museum? She's like the female Bruce Wayne.
No, she's not the female Bruce Wayne. She literally lives in she's either a part owner or she basically just kind of chills in the music. How many museum owners do you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
zero. No, because I thought at first, because the way the trailer made it seem, they're gonna do the whole Diana owner of a corporation, which was like the television show back.
CEO, the way Barbara talks to her is like, oh, Diana, she's talking to me.
She's her boss, basically. But it's one situation where it's like, she's a random owner of a random museum in the middle of fucking who gives a shit. So it's like barely anyone knows her. Even when Maxwell Lord's like, hey, come to this party. I don't really do parties. I stay in the background. Like, A lot, like nobody really knows her. But the thing is Maxwell Lord and Barbara, they recognize her immediately because of course they fucking
But
worked with
didn't
her.
she come out of a limo at that party? By the way, she comes out of a limo wearing a white dress. I know because
Yeah.
it was like she looked good in that dress, and she walks out
Yeah.
and she's like, "Look at me." So you can't play. I'd stay in the background, but I do like to get out on limos and walk the red carpet and walk in like
Well,
it's
she
my
still
fucking
gotta
place.
want to look good. And plus, the thing about the movie is people do recognize her when they deal with her immediately. Because again, at no point in the movie did Maxwell Lord or Barbara say, "I can't believe Diana's Wonder Woman." They looked at her going, "Oh shit, it's her. I better fucking get away from this crazy person." Like they never have the conversation of, "I can't believe you hid this from me," because as soon as you meet her once, you're like, "Oh, this is who this is." Like there's no hiding it.
I look, I guess because I can't argue too much about all that because it'll be a loaded fucking thing. But my whole situation, the way it came across to me was the fact that it's like she's famous, people know her, blah blah blah. And I could be fucking wrong. I really could. Chad, you can tell me.
At all.
But the thing is, though, is like even with that, Barbara, this other character, and this once again goes back to the comic book movie shit, where it's like you set your rules and then you break them instantly. I want to be just like Diana. I want to be Diana, whatever the fuck the case is. But yeah, she's still like, I don't know, but this dress, blah blah blah. And then like on top of those situations too, I really fucking hate this. And I'm sorry if there's any women watching this. I really, really apologize. Because I'm going to say some fucking mean shit about the movement of women in movies. If you guys are really serious about that shit, then stop doing girly shit. When it comes to Patty Jenkins writing this fucking thing, and this, I feel the same way about Supergirl, why in the fuck do they have things where all women still care about is clothes, shoes, all the stereotypical girl shit that dudes assume that girls are into? Why can't you give her any kind of characterization that's like, oh, she has that personality trait, instead of just like, oh, she's a girl, so, dresses. What the fuck is that?
I
Girls,
mean,
not
I
all
can
girls
write you,
like-
but I'd rather Jet do it instead.
Chrissy,
Well, I mean, like there's generally nothing wrong with like characters being girly or whatever, because that's like a non-issue. The problem is like the writing can be terrible with those characters, and they find it easily just to do that instead of writing an actual character who also likes girly things.
yeah, like Supergirl. Me and Alan had this big fight about this. And Supergirl,
Yeah.
there's a part where she's nervous because she's going to go on a date with some fucking guy, or she's going to talk to her boss. I forgot which one it was. Either talking to a boss or dating some guy.
Sure.
And she wanted to look pretty. So she's nervous and stumbling at a mall looking for shoes and be like, oh, that doesn't fit. Oh my God. I think this looks pretty, but like, I'm not sure. Keep in mind, the episode before, she was in the fucking clouds saving 100 people on a burning plane. Why the
Yeah.
fuck that someone who's been through that shit, holding a burning plane while people are screaming and crying, oh my God, not today, I don't want to die. Oh, the flames are burning, it hurts so much. Oh my God, I get some shoes. What
Yeah,
the
because
fuck is that?
again, because it's easier to be in superhero mode than it is to be in real life mode, where you have to keep your emotions in check. Like that entire season, especially the first one, which I don't think is particularly good, but they especially explored it later on. It's like it's difficult for her to be a normal person because she has to hide a lot of that stuff and essentially be a different person. So she's nervous. Where they even show up. I don't know if it's the first season, second season with Supergirl. They literally have a thing where she goes to an interview and she's so afraid of people realizing what she is when the fucking interview asks, "Hey, what makes you special?" Her response was, "I'm the most normal, boring person in the world," because she doesn't want anyone to think she's anything more than she is.
Sure, wasn't played for
especially-
laughs, because that sounds stupid too.
Oh no, a little bit, but it also showcases the character of like she needs to hide who she is because then people are gonna either come after her or she doesn't think people will ever accept her or think of her as a monster. Think with Diana here, where it's like, and the characters here, where it's like they don't know how to deal with this whole normal life, superhero life stuff, so they're essentially almost bad at both. Which like she can do the superhero stuff, she's saving people, she's doing all that cool shit. But when it comes to living a normal life, that's why she's so stunted in that, because to her, work is all that her entire character. And that's why she's so focused. Like when Steve comes back, holy shit, I actually have something. I could be someone normal. That's why she never cares about her losing her powers. It never really bothers her because she has Steve. She almost doesn't even really want to be a superhero, but she does it because she has to. The moment she gets an opportunity to not be a superhero, she really basically kind of goes for it. That's why
Well,
I
it's
didn't
not even
actually
just
mind
her,
a
though,
lot.
either. It's like it's not even just Diana. It's also Barbara. Because like Diana, I get it, right? Like we already seen her give a fuck about clothes in 2017's movie. That's fine.
Sure.
But with Barbara, it's like she just wished a thingy that's like, I'm gonna be sure of myself, I'm gonna be confident, I'm gonna be just like Diana. I'm not gonna give a fuck. And she's still unsure of herself as she was before. And then once again, and this is the whole thing going back into women empowerment. That's not really empowering. That it just takes one dude having a lot of money that gives you attention. Oh, I'll suck his dick then. I mean, I'm just a girl who just wants attention from a dude. Anything for dick. Oh God.
No, it's more like two scenes with this dude. She's so fucking horny that she lets this dude literally take something that the FBI literally told her to watch.
To not do, and she's never fucked up at work, guys. And she wants to. She just made friends with Diane. This whole thing is very, very important not to fuck with that wishing stone. And she knows what the wishing stone can do because that's why she made the wish. And she still did not give a fuck because, man, just one ugly dude's penis, I gotta suck that shit. So I just gotta let him run all over me. Fuck that, man.
I don't know how I want to defend this. For two reasons. Pedro Pascal's incredibly handsome. Go fuck yourself.
He's not. Put the mask back on. I want to see Mandalorian again.
And this is what happens. See, by the way, this is the sequel to the Mandalorian. This is what happens when he gets a kid up. He just goes into the money.
He just turns into fucking Trump.
Yeah,
man, I never saw that. Like, oh yes, he's a failing businessman with a fucking shitty hair, but like, besides that, I really don't see any similarities. But it's one of those things where whenever you see representation in general, not necessarily for women, it's always a problem of like, well, how many? Frank Miller does this the worst, where every woman in this particular story is basically the way Barbara acts. And I'm not sure if Jet's gonna agree with this. She probably won't. But like, it's always one of those things where it's like when you have multiple female representation of anybody, from minorities to females, and whatever in a movie, it's how much of a how different are the characters. Barbara, and as much as she wants to be like Diana, Barbara isn't like Diana. She is weak-willed. She is basically willing to kind of throw everything away for any bit of attention. That's why when she starts getting attention, she starts to become cocky and doesn't want to get rid of it. The reason that didn't bother me as much as it was kind of dumb is you had a character in the movie, the main character, who was strong, who did have those moments. And yes, everyone's going to have a moment of weakness. That doesn't take away from the character. But then Barbara's the other side where it's like, she isn't used to this. She isn't used to anyone giving a fuck about her, so she swoons at anybody that comes near her and fucks up her entire job. Because what happens when she first got her power? Everyone just started looking at her. She's like, yo, what the fuck? People are looking at me? And then this guy's like, oh, you're so fucking hot. Like, okay, cool. That shit doesn't happen. The reason that didn't bother me is because there are other representations of characters that were better. And this one, it's like, yeah, there are people out there that will swoon as soon as they get any bit of attention. That's not really that far out of the way. But it's like, you can't have every single female character acting the same way Barbara does, but this movie doesn't. So that's why it didn't bother me.
And that's fine.
Nah, like I agree with you to a certain extent, but there's a limit. There's a straight up limit to where like it affects your job. Yeah. Where like it affects your job like that. Like, hey, the FBI wants me to like study this stone or whatever. Me personally. Anyway, can I borrow that? No. Okay, yeah. You can have it. Like, bitch.
And just
like, I guess you really shouldn't have pretty power because it makes you into a dumbass bitch.
Well, I mean, yeah, she does got to do a lot of dumb shit over the course of the movie.
And by the way, what does Diane do that's ever that dumb, by the way? Because like the whole thing, like this happens after the wishing something.
That's what I mean, though. Like as much as it wants to be like Diana, it's one of those situations where I'm trying to emulate you, but I'm clearly bad at it. Where it's like when she says it's very vague. That's the thing about the wishing stone is it's not specific. So she was like, I want to be like Diana.
That sounds like the Force. That's like some Star Wars shit. It works in mysterious ways.
No, because the movie does that, where it's like it's the whole be careful what you wish for. Because some people wish for very specific stuff. I wish I had $1 million, or that guy's like, I wish I had a farm, but he didn't sit there and say where he wants the farm. Like it was a random like cutaway joke. So I'm not gonna sit there. Oh, I don't remember. Whatever. He literally says, I wish for a farm, but not here.
Yeah,
we're not here. That's the whole be careful what you wish for, it might come true. So when she asked, I want to be like Diana, I mean, what does that mean exactly to her? To what was it? To Barbara, because that's what the whole thing is. What does it mean to her? So Barbara's looking at her saying she's sexy. Okay, so Barbara becomes sexy over the course of the movie. She sees she's strong because she threw that dude across the way. I want to be strong. She becomes strong. But the thing is she never really realized how much of a strong will she has, where Barbara has a weak will. So she's succumbing to all of the dark desires that she has. So over the course of the movie, when it gets to a point where they're trying to get rid of this, she's like, I'm not going back. And that's where she basically splits off from the group. So it's like, I actually don't hate Barbara as much as everyone else does. I just feel like they gave her nothing to do. They started her off recently and they just forgot she existed.
But like on top of that too, it's like even with these things, the way they write these characters, once again goes to the comic book shit where it's like, listen, comic book people, you guys are already bad at details, and you're already bad at so many other things, even morally incorrect details. But it's like, you guys had to jerk off. Like, you guys know what Pornhub is. Are we still at a point now in 2020 that you guys think that just because a girl wears glasses, she's fucking ugly? Are we still at that where she's just walking around and everyone's looking at her like, oh, stupid ugly bitch. Oh, you drop your papers, fuck you, move out of my way, and just keep
But
walking
the thing
around?
is, I don't think anyone actually even thought of her as ugly. They just thought of her as like really shy because it's just like she just didn't have confidence. She wasn't ugly at all. She just didn't have confidence.
And I don't think they were like, oh, because of her glasses. I think they're just like, who the hell's this random person? Because when the interview,
all of a
like,
sudden she just starts like, there's a part where like she's in front of everybody and she's trying to read something and she takes the glasses off and she's like, oh, I guess just reading so much, I just don't have to read now with my glasses. Oh, that's convenient. And she puts the glasses on, everyone's like clapping, like, yay, you don't have to do.
Well, they were laughing at the joke,
but it's
like
also,
they're laughing at the joke.
But it's also like no one's gonna go, wait, so like. What the like? Wait, so you can see? Like, I mean, that's kind of fucking crazy, bro.
No, that's not what it ended up being. It's like because she had the glasses on all the time, just like normal people. But like she's like, oh, all this reading, I guess I'm okay with my sight. People that wear glasses specifically just for reading only wear them because of the fine print. They could walk around without glasses really, really fucking easily.
I wear mine for fashion.
That's different though. I've seen your fucking glasses. That shit is like a fucking 3-inch brick.
Listen, I use mine for fashion.
Bullshit! Yeah, looking like a squirrel. She has eyes on her fucking sides, man.
Listen, I got big eyes, but my glasses make me more attractive. Therefore, I use them for fashion.
I've seen the lenses there. Those things are fucking thick as hell.
Oh, man.
Alan, when you wear them, you understand that you wear them for fashion.
Any fucking way.
My thing
but
here too
now that we got about halfway through the movie, basically the rest of the plot kicks in because I was like, how stupid is this fucking stone going to be? How is it going to influence the plot? But then this is where it's like, I don't know, Nick's going to yell at me, and as much as he's calling out the inconsistencies that I mostly agree with, I actually kind of like the progression of the plot because I was like, well, how are they going to do this stupid monkey's paw? How the fuck is this going to be some stupid bullshit? But then Pedro Pascal's character, Max Lord, goes, I want to be you. And I'm like, huh. But, I mean, so far from what we can tell up to this point, we kind of know that Diana's losing her powers. So we're like, well, what are the downsides going to be? Because he has to, has issues, right? But then every time he walks up to someone, he gets the other people to wish. Because the whole monkey's paw paradox is that you get what you want, but it takes something from you. Now, that could be your deepest desires. In case it's Diana's losing her powers, you start to see Barbara losing her humanity, like the part of her that made her special. With him, it's like he's basically trying to loophole it. Yeah. Where it's like, oh, really bad happens to me because I'm not the one wishing it. I'm just giving the power. And it's like this random girl's like, oh, I want more help. Okay, cool. Give me more help. It's like, as a result, you work for me forever, whatever. I actually really like that because it's a cool power. He becomes basically a genie. And you get to see where it's like, he's consuming. And I really, really found that interesting. I'm like, this is a really cool character with a really cool power because he is that loser businessman, basically Wolf of Wall Street, I was calling it the whole time, where it's like, oh man, I just want to be this big businessman because I never had anything in my life. I want to be the coolest person in the world. So he's just taking and taking and taking, and he's essentially cutting the balls off of everyone he works with. That oil guy we brought up, he's like, I want your kingdom.
Yeah, about the oil really quick, because here's another thing too I don't like about this. This character would have been done right, but right away, and that's the thing, first impressions, and once again, lack of details, or lack of attention to detail. They assume, and this is where I come back, and the reason why I had a whole thing planned out as far as why I was going to talk about this and haven't really talked about the plot is because now it's time for plot. But right before we get into this, just one last layer about the details. So, one of the things I don't like about comic book movies is the fact that I say that they're fucking kids movies, and yet there's lots of grown fucking men and women that are like, no, it's not, it's a real cinema, blah, 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 blah. And to fucking tell them how stupid that concept of that this is real cinema that I had to fucking argue with them on is the way this character is written. So he starts off, basically what he did, there's a thing called Black Gold that he created when he was a lot younger or whatever, right? The thing is that it's about oil, and when the movie starts off, he's actually he's late to see his son. He doesn't even know that this weekend is the time he's going to be around his son, so his son's waiting in the room without him, just like fucking depressed, because like, man, Dad, he's just fucking up, man, and upstairs in his office is all empty.
Kid, I swear to God.
Yeah, that kid was rough.
Yeah. Kid actors are really like, there's 1 in 10 that are good.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is like he comes up there, and we'll talk about the kid in a minute, too, but like there's an investor up there, too, because this guy's telling him, I'm not a loser, I'm a great man, and I'm going to do everything, kid, and the kid's like, what the fuck? And
that is the worst accent for Pedro Pascal, but continue.
I don't know what the fuck, is he British or Mexican or just fucking stupid, because I can't tell what the fuck with that voice. But the thing is, though, is like there's this investor in there, and he gets up and he's like, hey, Max, that's enough. I'm going to get my money back from you. I made an investment, and you screwed me over. You absolutely screwed me over. There is no oil. You have no plate. You have no idea. There was never oil. Here's the thing, guys. And you can learn this by watching simple shows on CNBC, watch some Shark Tank or Profit. That's not how investments work. You can't fucking go to somebody and invest money into something that doesn't fucking exist. He would have had to have oil at some point. The fact that they keep harping...
No, he wouldn't. That's the whole point. Is he lied to them? He actively went out of his way to lie to them.
No, you're right. In the movie, he lied to him, right? But in real life, in just simple business life, that you cannot invest in something unless there is a exchange. When you buy something, it's an exchange.
No. Actually, there's a good reason I brought up Wolf of Wall Street. The whole point of that was that what was it? What they did is they oversold their stock. So basically, what it was is that they would sell penny stocks as regular stocks. So these stocks of companies that just started, and basically what it is that we have this idea, but we're going to overinflate the price of this stock. Just by talking it up and making it seem like the biggest thing in the world, so that we can get bigwig investors to spend all their money in, and then we run out. In his case, he thought he was going to get oil, so he basically had this idea where people would buy in. It's like, no, don't worry, we have all these oil things. Like, they're essentially buying stock in his company. They're not buying a product from him; they're buying stock in his company. That's why he needed investors. Like that's a normal thing.
No, but the thing is, like, he has a fucking multi-storied building with an employee, with the suits, with all the money, and then you got a thing for an investor to. I mean, like, you had to prove your concept. You don't just say, "I have an idea." Like right now,
no. That he did though. He bought the land of the places. That's why all the bills were past due, because he was running out of money because nothing was being sold there. He was basically.
Well, they show you that, but like when the guy, like that's what I'm trying to tell you is like it's a chicken before the egg thing. Like when the guy says you never had oil, I've never got no money back, you never had anything. And then Pedro Pascal is like, yeah, you're right, I didn't have shit. It's like, well, all that buildup of bills paid or bills not paid or whatever, none of that, you just killed all that. Because you don't, like, you can't make money out of nothing. You can't, like,
no, because what happened was he didn't know that, though. Okay, so he's saying that, there never was. That was something that even the character, because later on in the movie when he starts to actually get his power, he goes, yeah, I bought the land for cheap, and we tested it out. And early on I knew. But I thought, well, maybe I'll get lucky. I should have left that. Like, he understands that, but he basically thought if he just bided his time, one of them would eventually strike gold or oil or whatever the fuck. So it's like that. It's a situation where it's like he basically kind of led them on just to get the people to basically invest in the company so they could build it up so he could be powerful. But like the whole thing of there never being any oil, especially when the investor says that, is because he eventually did his own independent digging of the land that he basically helped buy afterwards, because this guy, sold him up, basically gassed him up. So it wasn't until afterwards where it's like they already bought, like, apparently all the land in the fucking south part of America. And then he started realizing, oh shit, this is a problem because it's been months and no money's coming back to me.
Like I said, I mean, that's a loaded argument because there's so many things. Because there's so many things wrong with
the movie.
Well, no, like, I mean, I'm only saying loaded because we're just not going to see each other's point. We have a different... I'm not saying either one of us is wrong, but like I think we have a different idea of how like investments work. And granted, like if that's something that's proven, then literally one of us has to be wrong. But for me, like learning about it and like just watching shows for entertainment based on that every single day, I feel like I really want to put my foot down and just say like I really do feel this way, even though you're coming out with a pretty good argument. But it's like on top of just all the other attention and detail, and the reason why I brought all that stuff up before is because if they can't get an arcade cabinet right or anything like that, it's like I'm looking at this and the fact that they might get investments wrong, it's pretty believable that they'll fuck that up if they can't do literally anything else right. To the point where, I mean, the fucking lady go through a whole thing talking about, oh man, we can't, it's amazing that Steve Trevor knows how to fly and all this other shit. And then, out of nowhere, because he learned how to fly, she's literally soaring through the fucking clouds and all this shit. It's like, there's so many things wrong with this. And that's why I get mad at comic movies, because I'm like, people say, oh, dude, this is not for fucking, this is not for kids, this is for adults. But if it's for adults, then you guys are stupid. This is stupid, and it's not even like an argument like, oh, this is my opinion of the movie versus yours. No. This is how you don't do a fucking movie. If you say it's for kids and admit that finally... maybe this kind of movie is for kids and not for fucking grown people with fucking grown brains, then I can be like, you know what, I'll let most of this shit go. Lots of it doesn't make sense, but it's for kids, so who gives a fuck? But the fact that argument's still there, that people look down on wrestling fans and anime fans, oh, if you're an anime, you're fucking stupid. Oh, we don't tolerate that shit. Oh, wrestling's fake. Blah, blah.
I agree.
Huh?
I agree with the anime part.
I
No,
mean,
you
look, at
don't.
the end of it, it's like you're acting like the comic book people looking down on anime and wrestling.
They
It's like,
do.
no,
They fucking so do. This whole
they look
community
at that
does.
like people. Everyone looks down on everything that's not fucking Martin Scorsese and fucking Robert Rodriguez movies. It's like we're all in the same. We're all in the same category, but you feel this need to fucking infight because a podcaster one time said wrestling was stupid. It's like
No, but it's everybody. We went to the after hours and literally there was a huge fight in there about fucking, oh, turn this wrestling shit off. Let's put on some fucking Wonder Woman. It's like, get the fuck out of here. This shit's dumb
yeah,
as
because
fuck.
again, there's gonna be some sets of people that are like that. But just like how wrestling fans are probably, oh, anime's so fucking dumb. You know, it's the dumbest thing in the world. I don't like my wrestling. It's like you said that shit too. You hated anime for the longest time because you didn't fucking give it a
I
chance.
also hate anime.
I know, so do I. But point is, do I think that comic books are for kids? Fuck no, hell no.
Why not?
Do I think?
Spidey
because
Tingle
again-
much?
But I'm not going to sit there and look at these interpretations of live action movies and think that's the entire genre. Just like how it's like, oh, wrestling is dumb. I don't think wrestling is dumb. The wrestling I've watched has been terrible. But like I've watched 5 or 6 wrestling specials. If I said, oh, wrestling is bad because of those, no, because that's not what the genre is even about. And I didn't spend 45 fucking years watching wrestling, so I don't know all the nuances. But I've never been one for it's the generalization that always gets to me. It always makes me mad.
Even take the wrestling now. Let me just put this out there. Martin Scorsese. Remember that whole thing that happened a year ago?
Yeah, I agree with them.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, because I thought that you were against that, but like, no, I agree with him.
No,
too.
the thing is, I agree with him that Marvel movies are theme park rides because how they tell their stories. I don't agree with the idea that the entire comic genre is that. The Marvel movies, yeah, even to a certain degree, DC stuff, because I feel like my disagreement only came from the fact that he was so pompous about it. Much like how Christopher Nolan's very pompous of we should watch only things in theaters. That's the only way to view movies. I feel that way in the same, like it's a very pompous thing. But when it comes to comic book stuff, is especially with this movie, what it tried to do, it failed, but what it tried to do is trying to tell a story about like, hey, you can't get everything that you want. You have to be happy with what you have, and you can't cheat your way to the finish line. Like those lessons are important for people to kind of know, and you get that guys in a comic book movie where you're able to kind of have all this action, have this fantastical stuff to show even someone with all these abilities isn't happy. Someone with all this stuff isn't necessarily happy. That's why I love Batman so much, because Batman has every fucking thing you'd ever want. He's the coolest guy in the world. Has all this money. Everyone wants to be him. Has everything that everyone wants, and he's fucking miserable. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you have. Same thing with Superman. It doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter what you can do. That doesn't complete you. Stuff doesn't make your life better. So when I look at comic book stuff, I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh man, because of Marvel, comic books are all for big kids. Like, no. I'm going to look at my favorite comics. I'm going to look at my favorite stories. I'm going to look at other stuff that tells interesting stories. Much like how, for instance, Soul, if we ever fucking get to it, I'm not going to say, oh, Pixar animated? That's for kids. No, that's for everybody.
Well, no, that's for everybody,
Like,
and I get that. But like, let's just say the movies that work for kids from Disney, they have more writing and more connective tissue to every single bit that they do than this will ever fucking have.
Yeah. No. There are a lot better comic book animated. This movie is poorly written. I'm not disagreeing with that. But and there's a lot of comic book movies that are poorly written. But it's a situation of these are poorly written movies. Much like how there are a lot of quote unquote adult movies that are poorly fucking written. But you're not gonna say, oh, I'm sure Martin Scorsese has some poorly fucking written movies. You're more of a fan of him. I'm sure there's a couple movies there that is like, holy shit. But you would never say Martin Scorsese is a terrible fucking writer. Because it's like, yeah, there's gonna be some shit in every repertoire. Especially a genre that's so big. Is Wonder Woman 84 poorly written movie? Of course it is. I actually really
But it's not. It's not even poorly written though, and I know like you have.
It is very poorly written.
Well, no, I know that, but like it's on the level of like there's so many other things wrong with it too. Like not only the CGI and everything too, but like you look at all these other movies too, like Shazam. People keep bringing up like, oh, this is the 5th best movie that DC has done because it's 5 movies in a row with Joker, Shazam, a couple other ones I'm fucking free.
Aquaman, and the original Wonder Woman.
Yeah. And the thing is, I'm looking at those, and Shazam had the same issues with like showing a kid play a video game with the fucking screen off, not fucking talking about the powers correctly,
Not knowing how to have them run.
Yeah. Oh god, the CGI here on Wonder Woman running, it looks like someone drag and dropped her fucking clip art.
Look, it was better than Justice League, but again, like I understand what you mean. That there's there's gonna be issues with these movies, and it's easy to pick it out in some cases. But at the end of the day, you're talking about an entire genre versus versus movies that are not doing it well. Because again, X-Men movies are way worse. I think every X-Men movie outside the few people like are way worse than anything DCU's ever fucking done. But it's one of those situations where I mean, again, people have called me wrong I hate the entire X-Men genre because I think they're all fucking trash. And people call me wrong because that is a generalization. That's where I draw the line. Because I'll sit there and we'll debate about investment and random fucking screens at a fucking arcade all day long. But I will never give a generalization because I think generalizations are unfair to whatever medium you're fucking talking about. And that's where my issue is. Where it's like I don't think I don't think comic books are just for kids. I think comic books can be for everybody, but not every comic book movie is going to be one done well and one for everyone else. So as much as I hate Teen Titans Go, that's for kids, straight up. I mean, maybe it's actually for adults as well. Sure, I'm never gonna fucking like it because it's not for me. But I'm not gonna sit there and be like, well, Teen Titans Go, that's how everything should be. It should be stupid and dumb and not care about it. But it's like I don't think how the next Wonder Woman should be anything like this. I want them to be a better script. I want them to have a better flow. I want them to have a better plot, better characters, because I think comic book movies deserve better. Because something like Joker is very predictable, but it was really well done. It was really well written. It was really well paced. There was a lot of good stuff to it. It used its time period very, very well. I want more movies to be written like that. Or again, like the first Wonder Woman. I thought I had a lot of good moments to it too. I want more movies to be like that, for instance. Like I don't just bring up DCU. Okay, fine. Fucking, I want more movies to be like Black Panther and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
That actually give a shit about their world and not just sit there and use the excuse like Spider-Man does. Where it's like, oh, Peter Tingle, you're disrespecting the comic books. I'm sorry.
This is disrespecting the other movies too. Like Wonder Woman, this one, especially with that fucking stupid invisible airplane jet thing, that breaks apart other shit that's being worked on too. Jed brought this up to me earlier before we started the show. But like, if that shit exists with the invisible fucking jet, then where the fuck was it in Justice League and Batman v Superman when it was needed?
Oh,
you just ruined the other storylines.
Okay, actually, I'm under the impression they're completely ignoring that movie.
Well, then why did we fucking watch that 4 years ago? You see what I'm saying? Like,
no, because again, it's like the Halloween 2018, where we're gonna do a movie to essentially decanonize the rest of the other movies because it just we can't do that universe anymore.
And it did it twice, but this has done it. How many canons?
There's another thing about that invisible jet thing too. Is that like, okay, if they do bring it back in this new Justice League that they're making, so that means in the next, I don't know when this new Justice League even takes place. So like in 40 years, she's basically going to teach herself how to fly jet planes. Because apparently she didn't know how to before.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they're going to give her the fucking invisible jet because I still think the invisible jet is the dumbest thing in Wonder Woman's mythos. But it's again, it's one of those situations where it's like her learning to fly because she doesn't fly in the entirety of Justice League. But when at the end of Wonder Woman 1, they do a time jump to I have no fucking idea when, but she does fly at the end of it. And this is where she learns how to fly to continue that storyline. But as far as Batman v Superman, I really think that they're trying to distance themselves from that movie. I really think they're trying to well, we're not going to say it didn't happen, but don't think about it too much. Because I was having this conversation with a buddy of mine. I'm like, she literally said that she only came out once, and that was 100 years ago in 1912. Like, for the first Wonder Woman. And she never came back out. But she kind of did because this movie exists. So I'm like, I really think they're just not letting them. They don't want that movie to exist.
And that's the thing that's so much frustrating about this. And we'll get to the end here now, too. The CGI with Cheetah, whatever fuck her stupid name is. I think they just called her Cheetah because they're so lazy.
Never give her a name. They never give her a name.
Yeah, and by the way, it's like, why she became a cheetah? Because she's like, I wish I was like an apex predator. Well, fuck making you a dinosaur or whatever. We gotta stick to the comics, don't we? Those dumb.
That would have been hilarious if she just turns into a dinosaur.
Yeah, that would have been great. It would have been different.
I don't know. Why does she transform into a cheetah?
I don't fucking know. Because she likes leopard print.
I'm sexy and I can beat people up.
I mean, you could be a lion too. A lion and a bear are also apex predators.
Fucking bullshit. So
did she actually wish to be a predator, like an apex predator?
Yeah, that's what but the thing is, her wish already was great.
She made a wish and then she made another one because Max Lord's like, you want to wish some more? You want some more wish? It's like, the last deal I got that was only 99 cents for this very expensive thing.
Listen, that doesn't make no goddamn sense. Like,
humans are. A lurker in the chat saying humans are also apex predators.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's fucking.
She just gets, oh shit, I went back to normal. Fuck, I have to rephrase myself then. I want to be a cheetah. It's like,
yeah. And then the way she doesn't die, by the way, but the way she doesn't die is. And once again, it's like we gotta just expect.
Actually, now that you bring that up, I'll bring a couple of things in the movie I like, and a lot of them are in the third act. There is absolutely nothing that Barbara does that would warrant her death. She doesn't kill a single person in this entire movie. All she does
which
is fuck up a couple guards.
Thank you so much, by the way, because that's another thing that was annoying. And once again, lack of attention to detail. God damn, that's what the movie should be called. She fucking almost gets raped by this one dude in the beginning of the movie when she's not Diana or whatever the fuck they call it. And then when she finally gets her cheetah bitch powers or whatever the fuck, she kicks him around, beats him up a little bit, doesn't kill him, doesn't call the cops or whatever. She runs away like it's a crime scene that she created when he was trying to rape her. Keep in mind, people, she didn't break his arms or anything. He's gonna get up one day and rape again. Like,
so you want him to murder?
Yes. He's a rapist. Kill him.
That's actually a problem with the first scene when Diana came to save him. Like,
That made me so mad.
y'all didn't call the police or nothing. Like, if you're not gonna kill him, I'm sorry. Even if I am against the police, you're gonna have to call the fucking police or kill him.
Yeah, just a
You
rapist.
want a worse situation? You want a worse situation? Diana says, "Okay, go home," and leaves her alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not gonna make sure that, like, you didn't kill the motherfucker. Which, okay, fine, you want to murder somebody? That's whatever. That's up to your own moral codes. But you're not gonna walk her to wherever she needs to go to make sure that because the guy is like still moving, so he could easily get up. You don't want to make sure she's safe. But anyway, again, we're
just leave that dude there. He'll get someone else. Go home.
Exactly, and he does. But as far as like, because again, we can go literally all day, and I've agreed a lot of stuff. I want to talk about a couple things that I did like. I can't believe it, but like at one point when they're fighting and she becomes Cheetah Girl and whatever the fuck, and I was like, wait, Wonder Woman's gonna kill her? That seems pretty harsh considering the fact that she never really killed anybody.
She did die in that scene. I actually thought she was about to fucking die, and I was just like, yeah. Oh, holy shit! Like, you didn't kill all these other people. You didn't even try to kill the rapist, but you're over here just shocking the shit out of this bitch.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, Barbara didn't kill a single person. All she did was rough up a couple guards and beat up a rapist. She didn't kill a single person. So death seems a really, really harsh for a character which at minor she just committed a few counts of assault. So I'm like, why are you gonna murder this character when she did essentially nothing wrong? Oh, you didn't? Oh, okay, cool. And then Pedro Pascal's character, I'm like, wait, did anybody die in this movie?
Yeah, pretty much nobody.
And I was like, wow. And to me, it's something that always kind of bothered me.
Chris Pine.
Oh yeah, pretty much.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count. He got brought back. It evens out. He got brought back to life and died again. It's zero. But again, now I'm going to talk about good shit because honestly, we can go all day about bad stuff. A lot of it was in the climax because a lot of what Max Lord's character is he's trying to accumulate power, but you never see him as necessarily a despicable, evil Lex Luthor villain. You see him as kind of just somebody that just wants to be above their station. So when he's getting all this power, he's not like, oh, I'm not going to shoot a man in the face. Like, no, I'm taking security guards because I don't care about you cutting your balls off. He basically is treating everyone the way he was treated when he was growing up, and they show a flashback about that. And then I realized that as the movie goes on, he doesn't kill a single person in this movie. He never pulls out a gun and shoots them. He just takes away what makes what they hold dearest because he wants to feel more powerful than them. That's his entire motivation, so that he never feels like the way he felt at the start of the movie when the investor says, "You're a fucking loser" in front of his son. He's like, no, I will never be that way again. So he makes everyone else feel that, so he steps above. I'm like, I actually kind of like that. Again, Barbara, she just wants to never be powerless again, so she's fighting Diana, but again, nobody dies. Same thing, Pedro Pascal. He doesn't kill a single person, especially at the climax. There's no giant monster battle or beam in the sky. It's just Diana hilariously, poorly talking him down. But I'm like, you're doing something that I feel like the first one should have. The first one should have had a conversation, not just this giant battle. So this one has it. I'm like, I don't think this is good. I don't think her speech isn't powerful. This makes no sense. But you didn't sit there have a giant monster space battle. You had a situation where the character has to appeal to this person's heart through the lasso of truth. I'm like, you know what? I have to give the respect for that. That's why, to me, this was a 2.5.
To the climatic thing where it's like, instead of having an action adventure scene in an action adventure movie, you like that no action adventure happened.
Well, okay, so my rating before the third act was 2.5 out of 5. Because I'm like, this is average. Because the action scene they had, I think they're bad. I think they're all bad. Like, I'll just look at this going, I'm just whatever, but I'm not offended. I give it 2.7, a little bit more. Because you had the balls to not just end this like every other superhero movie where we have to. I'm surprised Pedro Pascal didn't become 45 feet and like start throwing lightning or some stupid shit. It's like, no, she talked him down. She used the lasso to show truth and showed the truth to him and the world. And I wish that was better written because I would have been like, wow, that's really cool. But they wanted to do something different that a lot of other movies don't do because they gave you the action and you said you liked it. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. They gave the action. I think it's terrible. But it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, he didn't kill a single person. Nobody, I mean, people would have died, but he didn't actively kill people. So I'm like, Wonder Woman going up and ripping that dude's head, I'm like, that seems a bit harsh. So I gotta give it a little bit.
Technically, him almost causing the world to go into an apocalyptic state because of his actions. I mean, that is pretty criminal. That does make him a pretty fucking terrible person.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sure. Put him in jail and stuff like that. But like, hey,
one dude literally asked for fucking nukes.
But you announced it, so she came back. That's the whole point. I think she's still alive. But it's again, that's what I'm saying. It's poorly written because we don't have the situation where it's like, well, people are renouncing their wishes, but did everyone renounce it? And that dude, like, yeah, he renounced it probably because he knows it works. So she's probably alive, but we never see that. And they do the same thing they did with Man of Steel, where they do a chime jump to Christmas for some fucking reason, because I guess it's fucking Christmas. So we never get an explanation of anything that happened or if it even mattered. So that's some of the stuff that makes me mad. So my rating before the third act was 2.5 because I'm like, I'm kind of bored, but I don't hate it. I'm just like, whatever. But the fact that you're like, we're going to do something different with the climax, that I'm like, you know what? I'll give you 1/4 point because you failed at every single thing there, but you basically, quote unquote, fixed my problem with the last movie.
So, Jet, what would be your rating? Any last comments before I go off on this fucking thing?
I'll fight you motherfucker.
So honestly, I wanted to give this movie the chance because I feel like I'm harsher on DC movies than I am like any other types of movies. Because like Justice League, I absolutely fucking despised. I hated it. I thought Suicide Squad was just okay. It was bad, but I mean, at least I got some laughs out of it. Batman v Superman, the parts that I watched, I did not like. Like I don't really like DC movies that much, and also like their settings and all that. It's just like they really aren't for me. So I was gonna give this one a chance. It looked more colorful and like maybe fun. This movie was not fun. It was not funny, yet corny at the same time. I mean, if you're gonna have a corny movie, I'm sorry, you're gonna have some laughs in there too. And the only parts I really actually like genuinely enjoyed were with Wonder Woman and Chris Pine. And even then, he really didn't really even need to be in there. He was like fan service filler. There's no reason for him to even be in there, so it's just like, okay. Honestly, this movie was just boring and way too long. Why was it 2 hours and 30 minutes?
Yep.
Why was it so long? Like, my mom, like, me and my brother and my mom watched this all together. My mom had to go to the fucking bathroom at some point because she kept dozing off because it was so boring. I looked at that time. At the hour mark, I was just like, oh my God, this has been on for a whole hour. I want to die. When will this fucking end? Like, nothing has happened. I hate it. As it went on, some of the fighting finally starts, and I'm just like, okay, this is where it's finally going to start interesting. They're building up the characters. I'm probably going to get into it. The fight scenes were so boring.
Yep.
They weren't even worth it.
Yeah.
The villains were boring, and like the reasons for doing things basically didn't make any goddamn sense. I'm still confused on what the fuck he was trying to do. Like at the end there, was he trying to become a god or whatever, asking for everyone's fucking wishes or whatever? I thought they had to touch him to even get a wish.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing too, yeah.
Yeah, that was a thing in the movie where it's like, again, poorly written, where it's like, wait, particles, like touching, right? It's like, well, it's a figure of speech. I'm going to ignore that.
Yeah, which means that the entire time you could have done
right up to the fucking people that, like, it's not making no sense. He almost destroys the world, and it's just like, okay, are you going to be involved in that? Or are you just going to be the most powerful person, like, reigning over, like, the couple people left in the world because you're asking for everyone's wishes? Like, it's not making any sense. I feel also at the end with the part with his kid and everything feels so undeserved because you don't really even give two shits about that fucking kid. And I don't give two shits about that fucking character either. I don't give two shits about the villain. Like, I feel he should not have even gotten that emotional moment because it doesn't even work because he didn't seem sympathetic for a lot of the movie. Maybe in that beginning scene and, like, one other scene, but the rest is just, like, that's way too emotional of a scene to give a character like that. Barbara got, like,
Nothing.
Her character just got shit on. It's just, like, y'all couldn't have wrote this any better. It's just like fucking what was her name, Electro from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Like it seemed like she got that same fucking treatment, and it's fucking terrible. Like
keep in mind, by the way, it's Patty Jenkins doing this. It's a woman's empowerment movie, and that's how they did the fucking other woman. You know.
I really
think the fucking thing with the goddamn. Like, take back your wishes, people. I'm begging you, Dora type shit. Can you take back your wishes? I can. Like, bullshit. Like, get the fuck out of here. You really think these selfish ass people are gonna take back some? What if someone wished for some superpowers, right?
Yeah.
They ain't gonna take that shit back. That's bullshit. You think the person asking for nuclear fucking weapons is gonna take back their shit? I don't fucking think so. It's just like, did you guys not think this out? Like, at all? Like, if someone actually brought someone back that they actually loved and stuff like that, and they had no problems and they weren't Wonder Woman without powers, you really think they're gonna take that fucking shit back? The problem is, like, when that one dude said, hey, I'm renouncing my wish. I'm not the wish maker anymore. I'm not the wish stone. That should have canceled out all the fucking power. So we aren't left thinking like, okay, like, did anyone actually take back their wishes? Is there even any reason why these people are taking back their wishes?
Well, by the way, Jet,
really fucking confusing.
that lasso of truth that she was using at the very, very end, the movie forgot it already did earlier. She had him right here. That's show him the lasso of truth gets to not only get the truth out of you and make you tell the truth, but you get to see the truth. Yeah. She could have ended the movie at the hour and 20-minute mark.
Okay, so not necessarily, because at that point she didn't even believe it because Trevor's still alive.
All right.
Because it's one of those things where it's like, I see what you mean, but it's what the situation where she, because Trevor's right behind her. So I really wish that what they would have done is when she showed him the truth, he would have renounced his wish to being the wishing stone and again canceled everyone else's wishes. But I feel like there was a weird disconnect where if that was the case, you could have cleanly finished the movie off and then everyone would have lost their powers. But then you also cut to everyone renouncing their wishes. I'm like, I don't think that should have worked. I think what you should have done is like, because people will still remember the wishes. What would have been better is, yeah, you wrap the dude up, you appeal to him and be like, oh, I realize I was wrong. This is bad. This is killing. This is going to result in the end of the world. I renounce my wish. It cancels everyone else's wishes. And instead of people being mad, you're like, oh, we saw the truth that this would take something away. It's not worth it. Let's go back to our lives. That would have been a bit of a better ending. But I really feel like they just shot this ending out.
Well, one thing, too, before Jet has it ready.
It doesn't work.
Well, another thing, too, is like at the very, very end, guys, and keep in mind the spoilers. So, yeah, sorry. But the thing is like, the very, very end, if we're sticking with this wish shit, right? And someone even in the chat earlier today said something about like, oh, well, you know, when he becomes wish stone, then all the wishes become instant. Then explain to me at the very, very end, his kid looks at him through his eyes in the monitor and says, I wish you were home, Daddy. And he doesn't go home. Which means that the whole wishing thing does not make any fucking sense at all. And the entire premise and everybody wishing over the world and the fact they got his powers and the fact that Barbara became Cheetah Girl and all of that shit meant nothing. Because
Barbara became the fifth member of the Cheetah Girls.
Yeah. Wait, there are 4 other members? You're far there.
Jet, what would be your rating, though?
Honestly, we're getting this out of 5, right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, I watched this with my brother and my mom. Part of me had to hold back, thinking like everything I was nitpicking on. I was just like, oh my fucking god! Like if I keep complaining, they're gonna tell me to shut up, don't be in fucking critic mode right now. It's not even you. It's not even worth it. Because I honestly thought they were gonna like this movie while I'm just sitting there with my arms crossed, legs crossed, just making the fucking pouty doo-doo face and everything. But no, when that movie ended. Right, that hugging scene, I broke out fucking laughing. That I like started crying. I was laughing so hard. I was like, "That's the dumbest shit I think I've seen in the movie in a long ass time."
No,
and I was looking at my mom and my brother, thinking, "Oh, they're gonna tell me to shut up because I was overreacting, laughing." They just, my mom, and my brother were just looking at each other, just going like, "Yeah, I hate this."
Yeah, guys, I'm like, serious.
They like all these DC movies except Justice League. They didn't like that one. I honestly thought they were gonna like this, but I felt so justified when they said, "This wasn't good. I hated this." Yeah, and then I just threw out every problem that I had with this fucking movie, and I gotta say, because of that, this is a 1 out of fucking 5. I only like the Chris Pine parts with him and Wonder Woman, because generally those parts were enjoyable to watch. They should have that should have been the majority of the movie, not this other shit, because this other shit didn't work. They should have did way more with those two. because they were the heart of the movie. The rest of the shit was not fun to watch. It was boring. It was way too long. And also didn't make any sense. I wasted 2 hours and 30 minutes on my fucking Christmas, and I want it fucking back.
Yeah, guys. And by the way, this is the big comeuppance that the villain gets. You know.
So how are you gonna justify a 0 out of 10?
I can't do that. But I will say, like, this movie, everything about this movie just makes me go, like, okay, you know what? Like, I know I get really fucking mad at certain, like, genre films or whatever, especially with comic books, but this proves every fucking point I've ever tried to make with any of this. I don't like, and this is, like, on a deeper level than just fucking, like, whatever, like, just me not liking something. This is on a deeper level in the sense of, like, I don't like that they appropriate 80s culture, that they fucking appropriate the fact that there's a women's empowerment thing going on with these fucking movies. And by the way, this shouldn't be a thing, because women have been doing shit long before it was fucking fashionable. Women can fucking do directing and writing and acting and whatever. Paige Jenkins is not the fucking first. But for some reason, Hollywood's like, oh, we're not supposed to fuck women all the time under, like, without consent or whatever. We can actually have them make movies and shit. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. Oh, shit. And by the way, all the fans that are fucking like, oh, bravo, Paige Jenkins, bravo, Wonder Woman. You guys are so fucking surface level. You guys are full of fucking shit. Because there's been tons of other fucking female heroines in movies and whatnot that have done fucking amazing, and you never gave a shit. And now it's fucking fashionable. You're full of fucking shit. The same thing happened with Black Panther 2. I guarantee you, all the other black movies that came out, y'all didn't fucking watch. You know, how many fucking people in the chat right now? Well, not in this chat, but like how many people out there can actually talk about, you know, all the other Ryan Coogler movies? They probably just talk about Black Panther because it's comic book shit, because it's fucking nerd shit.
Yeah, look at Creed.
Yeah, well, no, I mean that's a pretty good movie. But then again, it's
that's what I mean. Look at
genre.
Creed. Oh, it's a good movie. I'm all with you.
Yeah, but it's fucking annoying because it's like they you know, these fucking new huge fucking properties come out, and because they have so much money and so much fucking stroke and so many fucking nerds, I love that shit, dude. They fucking clam onto real life problems and real life movements, and they make it about them, and it's fucking bullshit. So I'm done with the fucking like, oh, Black Panther 2, well, since it has black on top, it's black people, I guess I love it and it's a great black movie. No, it's a comic book movie. And that's what's going to fucking stay as. And the women movies, I'm sorry, but fucking A, Black Widow, awful most likely. It looks like shit. Captain Marvel, boring as fuck. Wonder Woman, boring as fuck. Why don't you watch Atomic Blonde? Something that actually does something a little bit different. It's not all the way different, but Charlize Theron, fucking amazing. Great actress. Great people making the movie. Fucking Joy, that's another one. There's so many fucking great women movies out there, and you fucking people just want to watch the comic book shit because at least it, you know, plays with your little nerd dingling while you're over there like, oh yes, women are worth something other than jerking off to. Fuck you. And that's what Wonder Woman's been the whole fucking time, by the way. The comic books back in the fucking day, she was all bondaged up the entire time. And like what Alan said earlier, it was for tits and ass. I'm sorry. You think I really take the fucking lady with the stupid fucking lasso like a cowboy or whatever? You think I take that shit seriously? Versus Batman?
Listen, I took Stripperella very fucking seriously.
Did you? Did you really?
And I'll talk shit about my own shit too, by the way. People talk about like Tomb Raider. Oh, it was a great fucking game when Lara Croft came out. Yeah, but you had to have her had the most sharpest, hugest fucking titties in the world with Lara Croft. That wasn't woman empowerment. It was still out there to serve the fucking nerds playing these video games trying to have boners and shit. Same thing with fucking Dead Alive, or what's the game? Dead or Alive?
Dead or Alive.
With big titty girls jumping to fucking volleyballs out there. Oh, look at me, I'm gonna play this game. Which one of you fucking nerds bought Ready or Alive or Dead or Alive and were like, oh, I'm playing it for the gameplay. You fucking perverts. Fuck you. And I'll talk shit about wrestling too. I'll even throw myself in there.
I know you're not gonna call me out.
He's like, maybe I can skip past the wrestling. Yeah, wrestling's fine. And then you know what else is like anime.
No, but like wrestling, women's empowerment. And yet for a while there in the beginning of the women's empowerment, fucking like WWE Women's Revolution thing,
bitch.
They had many girls out there, butt cheeks out. They had girls fucking twerking. You know, and I do love women's wrestling, and it's actually good right now. It really is. But there's been years where they could have been great wrestlers, but men go back to that fucking perverted shit when it comes to these things, and then they still think like, oh yeah, we're you know, all for women, blah blah blah. No, you guys are still fucking, you're full of shit. So stop throwing that in my fucking face. Women empowerment this and black movement movies that.
Volleyball is actually fun.
No, it's not. That's some bullshit.
Yes, the fuck it is.
No, it isn't. And because of that,
yes, it is. We have
because of that, it took us so long.
In this fucking house.
No, it's not. Because it took us so long to get the actual fighting games. Because Dead or Alive beach volleyball is trash. But Dead or Alive 5,
no,
the fighting
it's fucking not,
amazing.
Alan. Why can't you just appreciate fucking volleyball?
Because fucking volleyball is boring. Yeah, fuck you, Top Gun.
But me, I give this a fucking 0.5 out of 5. And the only reason
Wait,
why I
you give
leave,
it a 0.5?
oh yeah, I give it a 0.5. And the only reason why I give it a 0.5 is because this kid made me laugh my psychotic ass off. That is one of the worst actors as a kid ever. And the fact that this movie had the fucking balls to say, hey, our character, our villain, is not going to get a comeuppance. And then he literally goes, I'm a loser. I'm a loser. You're right. Your daddy is a loser. I still
Don't you
love
talk
you,
about my
Daddy.
boy Pedro.
I still
I love
love you,
him.
Daddy. And this kid, by the way, I love this kid way more than Baby Yoda. This kid will beat the fuck out of Baby Yoda. So I want this to become a series. Fuck,
What
Mandy
the
and the
fuck are
kid.
you? What crack are you on?
Well, Mandalorian.
Like, what crack are you on, man? Swear. You don't talk about my boy Pedro. He's my favorite working actor right now.
This was not a good example, son. And
Look,
by the way,
I'm
neither
not
was
saying
Mandalorian.
look, there have been worse examples, but he tries his best. He just isn't given a lot to work with.
I don't know. I don't know what to say. But
Tries his best, God damn it.
yeah, I hate this fucking movie with a passion, guys, and I hate Wonder Woman. I really, really hate Wonder Woman. Like, I don't know if you guys could fucking tell by the show,
Really?
but it's like, yeah, dude, I hate that shit. I hate the DC universe. The games are still cool, and I hope that, they can do something that's actually pretty cool later on, but at the same time, dude, it's like, you guys in the chat, and just nerds in general, whoever fucking sees this, please start reacting appropriately to some of these things that come out. Don't get scared that someone's gonna call you racist for not liking Black Panther. And I actually love Black Panther. But some of you motherfuckers who are like, I love it, and then never watched it again, never talked about it. Until Chadwick Boseman died. Then he talked about it again. Oh, he was so great. What other movies did you watch? Yeah. He's
Gods of
more than a
Egypt.
fucking Black Panther character. He's fucking, no one even talked about Defy Bloods. Half the videos I saw on Screen Rant, all that shit, was like Black Panther this, Black Panther that. Who gives a fuck? I don't know, man.
Yeah, we should know about Gods of Egypt more.
No.
He was in it.
He was? That's bad.
Yeah, that's the first time I ever saw him.
Yeah, that's not a good way to start. But Defy Bloods, he's really good at that. Go watch Defy Bloods. That's the movie you guys should be watching. Defy Bloods. Go check that shit out. Anyways, I know that we've been doing a long show, but this will be a quick one. Alan, I'm sorry to throw this on you, but I'm
What?
gonna need you to explain very quickly the plot of this fucking crazy concept that is Soul. Because for me, I was too busy just thinking about my own life while watching this and being pretty fucking depressed.
Oh, you act like I wasn't?
I don't know, man. Because, I know, when we watch things like this and we have fun with the animation, blah, 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 it's like, I can tell that maybe most people are, having fun. Even when he died right there, when he falls down in the well there. But it's like, it's like, oh, it's they had the music playing and blah, blah, blah. But as soon as they get to where he's almost by the great beyond, I just started thinking about, man, what is fucking death, bro? What is life? What is this? It's like, oh,
What is love?
baby, don't hurt me.
No, we're getting copyrighted.
No shit, right? But no, dude.
Okay, so since we didn't do this last time, we're gonna give the basic premise of the movie. So basically, what this is, and they say this in the trailer, so we're gonna try not going into spoilers because this movie we actually enjoyed.
Mhm.
But basically, what it is this character, he's Jazz, that's his whole thing, and he's trying to get that next big gig. He's trying to get that big gig so he could justify his own life. And he finally gets a call from the person he was wanting to work with, and he goes there, he impresses them, he's doing all this crazy jazz shit. And then on his way back home, because the next day they're gonna get the actual gig, he passes away, and just randomly. And he gets to the other side and then realizes, oh, this is death. Wait, no, I just got the gig. My life's about to start. This gig is the start of my whole life. I can't die now. So over the course of the movie, he's trying to. So the plot of the movie is he's trying to get back to Earth so that he can get back into his body and get to the gig and live his life. And that's where we kind of step in with Joe Gardner. And since I've already started explaining the plot, I'll just go right into the first things I thought. This is the most immaculately animated movie I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god, yeah.
We paused it at the 3-minute mark because when they at first I bursted out laughing in the first 20 seconds because they start playing the music and I'm like, this is the worst music I've ever heard in my life. Yeah. Oh my god, what is going on? And then it comes to a class, I'm like, oh, okay, they're children. Holy shit. But then we pause it just because of life got in the way, so we pause it and we're looking at the classroom. And I turned to my buddy, I'm like, yo, $1,000. Take this photo and tell me that's live action. Tell me that's not animated. It looked like the characters all look animated, but the trombone, the trumpet, the background, the fire extinguisher.
Dude, the notes that they're hitting on their shit, where it's like if you look at their hands, it's accurate. It's authentic. It's like that's literally how you would fucking play it.
The environment. I know this is a weird thing to talk about, but everything that's stationary, like the chairs and the walls and ceiling fans, fire hydrant, doors. That shit looks real.
Yeah.
I honestly can't tell. Like I was like, oh, they must have had 3D models or something that they drew. I was like, no, they animated it all. I'm like, I don't know how they pulled this off because the characters look very Pixar. They look very good, but everything else, like when they have her, because they show Maritha Williams, I think that's what her name was. When they show her hair and the sax and the light glistening off of it, I'm like, what the fuck is this movie? How is this looking so good? Because I thought Toy Story 4 was the best animated movie I ever saw. But they're like, no, we're stepping this one step up because it looks so fucking real, and the music
and so
is
different too. It has this like you can't confuse it with something else. It's like this is this. Like it has its own identity while also being not too crazily different, but then also being so perfected too. It's fucking all that.
Because Ryan said after they made the Blue Umbrella that they could replicate life. Pixar's just gonna make live action movies. Like fuck it at this point. They might as well at this point because like, and the thing is like the voice acting's all on point. Because the progression of it is when he starts to get to the other side, I'm a huge fan of give me an afterlife, but then go out of your way to explain it. Because they go through and I'm like, Stairway to Heaven. I made the joke, Stairway to Heaven. And he runs the fuck away and goes into this like new area. And when he lands in this area, I saw these like like these baby blue almost pea things. And I'm like, oh, I know where he is. He's in pre-life. And the music go, yeah, this is where new souls come to get formed. So they're explaining like life and death and all that shit. They don't explain everything because you never really get an explanation of the great beyond, but you basically get an explanation of what it was like pre. And I love this movie where it goes into all this explanation of, yeah, this is what it's like for before you're born, your personality, where it comes from in your soul. But what gives you the spark of life is something that you have to gain through natural progression. And I was like, wow, that's really fucking interesting.
Yeah, JT and they're saying, yeah, so was the CGI flex for Pixar. Damn straight it was. But speaking of just the CGI and just how everything looked, Jet is somebody that puts so much into as far as like what she thinks about animation. She has a fucking amazing eye for that. Jet, what'd you feel about this? Does it look as amazing as what me and Alan are saying right now? Like, what'd you feel about it?
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. Like, there's certain times where you can pause this movie when they're like in the real world and just be like, yo, those look like real fucking people.
Yeah, especially in a barbershop. That was a fucking amazing scene. And the fact that everybody's doing something. Like, I always have a thing in my head where I think of, like, many characters being written at the same time. Where, imagine you're playing with your action figures or your toys. It's like you only have two hands. So you can only have two characters move. In the barbershop, though, there's someone on their phone scrolling through. There's another person getting a haircut. There's a door opening. There's people walking outside.
And no one person looks alike either.
Yep. Exactly, yeah. And did you expect that this was going to be that fucking, like, immaculate, Jet? Because I know that you were kind of excited about this movie coming out. You're like, I'm excited for Soul, but what were you expecting out of this?
Well, I mean, after like Toy Story 4, like they literally had details on clothing that like they didn't need to do, but they did anyway. So I felt like once Soul came out, like it was gonna basically be like even either on the same quality of Toy Story or even better. I feel like it was even better.
When I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, I know this looks good, and that's something you can just tell just by watching the trailer. But then I was like, okay, this is going to be a movie where it can finally just be fun and stop being about fucking sadness or make it put me in a bad mood. And I don't know why I thought that, because I thought, and this sounds stupid. So the movie's called Soul. I thought it's because like, oh, soul music, like I play R&B and soul, you know. And I'm sure that that's kind of what the fucking title means, but it also means soul, as in you die. So yeah, dude, I was not expecting what I got into here, and that's probably just because I'm fucking stupid. But as I got into this, though, I really was not expecting it to be so emotional. But at the same time, I don't know if I was just an extra emotional dude. So, Jeff, I'm gonna ask you, emotionally wise, like storyline wise, do you feel like this hit as far as it hit me? Did it hit that for you?
I mean, I fell for it, but I don't think it hit me as hard as you because, like, I feel like for you, like, you're kind of living, like, kind of what this dude's living, so it hits you more. For me, I felt more, like, in tune with 22 in this movie.
Really? You know, that fucking makes a lot of sense. I don't know if you agree with that, Alan.
I get where Jet's coming from. I was kind of the same thing with you, because the funny thing is, I got in an argument with my buddy, because I was mad at the only problem I have with this movie is I feel like, and this is a personal thing, is I wanted them to delve more into the ending of Joe Gardner's character, because I feel like they left it ambiguous and it made me mad, because it's the whole movie's about, hey, you know, you got to chase your dreams, chasing your dreams, you're forgetting about the little things in life, because that's what 22's character ends up being, where she like starts to enjoy the tiny things, but he's so focused on the big thing. And I'm mad too because I'm like, wait, I do that shit. I do this all the time. Please end it well. Tell me how to fucking tell me a lesson I should learn. But it doesn't do that. But it does it on purpose. But it made me mad because I'm like, how am I supposed to feel after this? Because it did not make me cry. But I had to take a walk after this movie.
Yeah, because the thing about this movie is that it's so fucking honest. Like after seeing Wonder Woman 1984, I'm like, I need someone.
It's like both these movies came out the same day. Both these have a fucking lesson on life. One just does it really fucking well. One just kind of fails.
Well, more so just morally, because we talked about some of the morally things that was wrong about the Wonder Woman shit. But this is this is a movie that actually I think wants to speak to you a little bit. I mean, and granted, maybe I'm just looking too much into this, but I think this movie was like, listen, relax. Life fucking sucks. Just enjoy the good things. And I feel like this shit was like I don't believe in therapists. I think going to therapy is bullshit, and I think they just try to get money off of you. But seeing this, I'm like, wow, maybe it does work.
People who say that are usually the main ones who need to go to therapy.
Yeah, he's right on that one.
Well, fuck you.
But it's one of those things where it's like, to me, when I first thought, I expected it to be like Moana. I expected it to be almost the exact same kind of movie as that. Mm-hmm. But going through, I'm like, yeah, this is it's doing the typical Pixar thing. And something that kind of bothers me is when you're doing the typical yada yada thing, because people's like, oh, I expect Pixar to be sad. But that would mean they have to work harder to actually get you there. Because for instance, this is very, very similar to Coco, I think, just because of the music aesthetics and the afterlife. To which I said this for Coco, I'll say this again. Pixar's afterlife sucks. Die young, kids. Because
no shit, yeah.
I'm not dying at 106 and going to the great beyond in my decrepit, pants shitting, I can barely see fucking thing. At 45, I'm out.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'm looking at this. The only issue I have with this, since we talked about that somewhat when you said you had an issue with it, my issue, and I hope I don't make anyone mad, because I'm not a person. By the way, just before I'm gonna preface this, because holy shit,
you probably should.
So when it comes to black issues or Mexican issues or women issues or whatever, I know I got mad with the Wonder Woman thing earlier, but it's like I don't like to get mad about those things because that's y'all's thing. You guys should feel bad about it, and you guys should work together and deal with it. If I'm appropriating your problems if I'm complaining about something that doesn't even affect me in real life because I'm not black or I'm not female or I'm not this or I'm not that. So I don't like to complain about that. However, there is something very funny considering, and this might be some of a spoiler, but I mean, we already brought up the character 22, and I don't know if you know where I'm going with this, Alan, but this character...
You might have the same complaint I did, actually.
Yeah, so, this is one of the first animated movies that's finally about a black character. Just like with horror movies.
You have the same complaint.
And then, by the way, in every horror movie, the black dude dies first. That's the thing. Black dudes always die first in actions or whatever, action movies or whatever. But then, most of the time, this movie...
We're focusing on Tina Fey's character.
Yup, the white character has to be black the whole fucking time. I was like, are you... Man, black people can't get a fucking break.
Dude, I was literally talking about buddy of mine. I'm like, so Joe Gardner's character gets little crumbs of character development, but we got to focus on the entirety of Tina Fey's character getting to development. And I will know what they want to try to do. They're trying to essentially build Joe Gardner's character by using Tina Fey's character. However, they never let a lot of the moments breathe. There are a lot of moments where he should be learning that he was so selfish, but we never feel like he gets that. We're always supposed to imply that he learned his lesson. But the next scene showcases he doesn't really learn anything. So that which leads it to my complaint of I feel like the main character never really got proper closure to the extent where I feel like 22 characters did. And I liked it. Don't get me wrong, I did. But it really upset me where it's like, I feel like I don't think Joe Gardner learned his lesson. I don't think he learned the proper lesson he was supposed to get. I think that he accepted it, but I don't think he learned anything. And that's my only problem with this movie, where it's like, I think this movie is a solid 9 out of 10. It would have been higher, but it's that situation of the character himself. I feel like they focus more on the side character than the main character.
Yeah, and Jed, do you feel the same way? Do you feel like they're leaning more towards a certain character versus actually building Joe Gardner and his soul up?
Personally, I felt they built both of them up pretty well. The thing is, Joe Gardner's already a middle-aged man or whatever. He went through a whole bunch on Earth or whatever, while 22 really didn't get to, experience anything because they were frightened or whatever. Frightened of what's gonna happen on Earth. Oh, how do I explain this? I didn't have a problem with that per se, but
yeah, yeah, because the thing is, for me, and I mean, I didn't have a huge problem with it because I'm like, well, his soul is getting character development, and that's the cool thing. And granted, It's
I
not
mean,
like
technically, he still got character development. Just like he was watching things go on while in the spoilers body of a cat.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
sometimes you don't realize things that are going on in your life until like you're basically from like the outside like looking in.
Okay, but the problem with that statement is so the barbershop scene which we brought up, where 22's talking about the existential crisis of life, and she starts talking to the barber guy that's fixing up his hair, and starts asking the questions for him, and he starts telling his backstory and all that stuff, and then when he walks out, it's like, oh, why didn't you ever tell me that? It's like you never asked, and then you see the good character actually realizing it, or when he's talking to his mom, but the next scene he like forgets it because he's so busy trying to get back to his life to get the gig, and I'm like, I feel like he didn't learn the lesson until the very end.
I think it's just more at that point. He just like, okay, yeah, like I want to basically start doing things and changing up stuff and just start living my life now. I can't still keep living as a cat.
And Adrian makes a good point where 22 is originally supposed to be the main character, and that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, it really does, actually. And that's the thing, like, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing because they built both these characters up and they have a lot of screen time, but at the same time, I'm looking at this and I'm like, this movie, even with the name, the title, Soul, it's like, I feel like this is supposed to be a lot about music and what he's going to do, and it's like, damn, we didn't get to see him do pretty much anything other than just...
I mean, it is, though. That's the thing. Like, I think what it is, we wanted essentially Joe Gardner to have the character arc instead of Tina Fey, because I feel like again, I guess we all agree there's definitely not enough black representation in animated features. So I think we just wanted more, but at the end of it, it does live up to the soul because music is his entire thing. He does a lot of music, playing the piano. That is his entire personality, and he tries to use that to get her to like it. And then she eventually starts to realize, like, hey, there is a lot of beauty in this music. It's not the one thing she likes. She likes a lot of things about life, but they do a lot of that stuff. It's like, yeah, music can take you to the zone. Music can make you feel and appreciate a lot of things. So it does it really well. We just wanted it to be more about him. I think that's a really small complaint. That's why I didn't take a whole point off.
And on top of that, too, like, that's also a thing that's saying good. Because, like, it's, they leave you wanting more, but they also get you so much of what you didn't even really know you wanted, and that's the cool thing about this. Like, they managed to tell not only the story of the universe, to the point where, like, dude, I thought that, especially when they got to the Great Beyond, I was like, there's no way I'm going to actually understand what the fuck's going on in this movie. That's why, like, storyline-wise, the story arc, I had you kind of introduce what the story is to everybody in the show. But it's like, wow, after 20 minutes, I kind of understand. Like, they did a really good job just kind of, like, explaining each bit of, like, how the afterlife works, how the Great Beyond works, how real life works, how people are put back into the system. It was, like, a really nice cycle of just, like, oh, this is how this whole thing continues on. It's like, yeah, I didn't think I was going to be able to understand it. You know what I mean? And granted, I still have some questions, but for a kid's movie, and that's the, once again, I'll bring it back to the review.
I disagree. I don't think this is a kids movie. I think this is a movie for all ages because you have kids that are like, oh yeah, totally. I should not obsess over getting a PS5. But then you have adults going, man, shit, I got to enjoy the little things. Then you have like older people going, yeah, I learned that lesson 10 years ago, but still nice to hear.
Jet, what do you feel? Do you feel like this counts as a kids movie? Because for me personally, I just want to say I do agree that it's a kids movie, and I also feel like it's okay to be a kids movie and then be so fucking good that it can bring other audiences into your genre. Because now no one needs to pick at it and say, this is not wrong, this is stupid, blah, 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 because it's for kids. So lightly go into it.
I feel like kids can enjoy this movie, definitely, because they're going to enjoy animated movies like regardless, especially ones like this beautiful. But I think this one was more aimed towards like adults, young adults, and older. Well, just adults in general.
It probably makes sense, but like I also I was kind of hoping that this movie was intended for kids, just to kind of have that talk. Like, I don't know if y'all ever think about this.
A lot of the jokes would go over kids' heads in this movie. Like, there's a lot of kids' movies where like jokes go over their head, but even the message, I feel like, if you haven't like lived through that, what Joe Gardner has been through, or what 22 is even like having a crisis over, you really won't enjoy this movie as much. So I feel like it's more for adults.
Because I was going to ask you this, Jed, and you too, Alan, after Jed answers. But it's like, for me, I really, like, I don't know if you guys think about this, but, like, I think about it when I have kids one day, and it's like, how will I have certain talks with them? And I'm going to be honest, dude, like, I'm very, very scared about that first day I discuss what death is. Because death is really, really, like, it'll keep
I'm going to tell you this. Don't, dude. You shouldn't. Have somebody else. Christ, you are like, you're gonna start off as like, well, what happens is when you die, there's probably nothing. But if there is, yo, I don't know, you could go to hell and like burn for like ever and shit. So like don't don't stay up too late. But even if you're good, heaven might not be all that good and shit. It might be like other memories. Like you're the worst when it comes to afterlife, man. I swear to God.
But like, I mean, Jed, do you think of that though? Do you think about like how you're gonna tell your kids what death is? Like, and do you feel like something like this is an easy way to build the foundation for that discussion?
I mean, yeah, like that time's gonna come like eventually. And like there's different ways of teaching kids about death. You just gotta use the one that works.
Supernatural.
Yeah. Wow. No,
That's how I'm gonna get my kids. When they're about 9 years old, I'll set them on Supernatural. So by the time they're 24, they'll understand.
Now, will you shut off before
Like,
the gay guy
there's
goes to hell?
Fuck you.
Like there's some kids that basically can take like the truth of death, like we don't know what happens, or there's some kids who will take basically like a lie better, or there's some kids that will take like maybe like some sort of simplified explanation of it. It really depends on the child.
JT Grimm saying
You just gotta get to know your kid.
JT says you're probably going to have a playlist of movies prepared to explain life and death, and we're actually talking with them. Yeah, dude, that sounds like a pretty good idea.
So yeah, here's a wrestling promo that explains the afterlife.
Oh, dude, that would be great. Danger Monk saying the animation was flawless except for the lack of wind in the subway scene. I don't know why, but it stood out to me that there wasn't a breeze in the subway. I guess.
Oh, that's actually a good point.
Yeah,
I never thought about that.
That does make sense, but man, like, and once again, it's like when a movie does A, B, C, D right, I'm okay if E's not done all well. You know what I mean?
But something you brought up earlier, and you brought this up in regards to Wonder Woman, and I want to have a conversation with people. I think the idea of calling something a kids movie as a pass is completely. I hate it because I think that calling it a kids movie to give it a pass for its stupid inconsistencies is really flawed. Now you could like for instance, if you're watching a bad movie, oh, it's a kids movie, don't think about it. It's this idea that we have to talk down to kids, that kids are so stupid they won't realize it. And yeah, we all watch dumb shit. I mean, we all grew up on fucking shitty, comic book fucking animated adaptations and shit like that. Or we all watched Captain Planet and thought it was good, even though it was complete trash. Yeah, there are things that kids are going to go over their head. But this idea that kids can't understand topics or kids are too stupid, so don't put any effort into it. It's something that always bothered me because kids do understand stuff. And the fact that we keep treating them as dumb, they get that. It's like, how many times girls like, oh, I was a dumb kid, so I'm going to treat my kids the same way. It's like, no. Like, the lack of respect that people have for children and children's art, it always bothers me because when you said, oh, this is just a kids movie, it's not, though. Kids will love it. It's bright, it's colorful, it's happy, has a great message, great music. There's so much stuff to love about it.
Why Shrek is the best kids movie.
No,
but even with that though, like Shrek movies, the Pixar movies in general, they're for families. But this idea that it's just a kids movie, I feel denoted of, oh, adults, don't worry, adults, this isn't for you. You're not supposed to watch it.
Because of that, if you have a distinction, and I'm not saying like you're completely wrong, I'm just saying like where I'm coming from. If there's a complete distinction between family and kids, then you see things that might be considered family, such as fucking like Home Alone 1 and 2, or fucking Shrek.
Those movies are horrendously violent. Like I watched some of those yesterday. Those movies are horrific.
But they make no sense. If I judge it for not being a kids movie and judge on the same level I would judge a John Wick or a Grumpy Old Man or a Clerks or whatever, it's like I gotta tell you that movie is now trash. But because
not necessarily though.
Well, it
keep that same energy for Scoob.
What's up?
Well, no, because Scoob is definitely a kids movie. Scoob is definitely a kids movie, and it's fucking great as a kids movie. If it's, compared to like I guess Soul, I mean, it's not even on the same level. It's like insulting because it's like,
It ain't now even on the same level as Shrek.
I don't know.
I never really watch it because I hate Scooby Doo. But it's that the notion of because it's animated or because it's bright and colorful or because it's not rated R. Is that this is the notion of it being a kids movie? Because I feel like people use that as a way to either just wash over aspects of it, or as to denote it as no. The big adults should only watch The Irishman on loop. It's like, no, get your parents to sit down and watch this, and when they beat your ass because you reminded them of their failures, it's your fault. But can you imagine your dad just looking at you? Oh shit, he's remembering that fucking thing that he didn't do. But
yeah.
But it's just one of those things where it's like I think that people should stop getting out of their ass because like they'll avoid again. They'll avoid things that they would have loved. Because like, imagine if you told someone, "Oh, Soul's a kids movie," but then someone's so up there on us going, "I don't watch kids movies." They might miss out on something wonderful. That's something that might
And
have.
they are idiots for that because there is people.
But that's my point, though. We just talked about how people are idiots for only thinking Patty Jenkins is the only female director, or how Wonder Woman's the only strong female character. People will do that. So you have to have these movies that blend this family and adult fucking genres, so that everyone can get involved. Because this lesson is for everybody. The lesson of this movie is that this big dream you're going for, yeah, that's cool and all, and that's important for you to have. But you also need to admire the little things in life. Because at one point, the character goes, "Wait, walking? You enjoy walking? No. That's just regular shit." It's like, because he was so focused on the big thing that the little things you getting from point A to point B is just as important as point B. And that's
really
important for everybody.
That was actually really beautifully said. I'm gonna be honest. I was actually one of the
Trust me, I took a fucking long ass walk. I took a walk around my block too, because I just need more time to fucking think.
Yeah. But Jet, what do you feel about that though too? Like, do you feel like, because like, I mean, I guess we can wrap this up without like, spoiling anything. But like for me, I do think that whether or not it's a kids movie or family movie, I do think that maybe more people do need to see this. But if they don't, then fuck them. I think that like if you're scared to watch something that's gonna open you up deeply like this, then that's your fucking loss. But Jed, do you feel like more people should actually see this, and should people look at this not as a kids movie so the audience can widen?
I feel like the only people saying they're not going to watch because it's a kids movie are the ones people like who only watch a certain type of movie anyway, so they really shouldn't care too much about their opinion.
That's what I'm thinking too.
But,
yeah. Well, no, because another thing too is like I know people don't like horror movies because they're just like, oh, it's one of those stupid horror movie things. But I'm like, there is horror movies that are funny that can easily be watchable by you. But the fact that you just don't want to watch it, it's like, well, then you go ahead and be that guy who has the opinion of just one particular genre and be an asshole. And by the way, I'm that asshole too. I'm over here talking shit about comic movies. I still watch them. You know what I mean? But like, there's probably a lot of fun that I'm missing out on because when a Captain Marvel comes out, that might be kind of entertaining to watch. I'm over here like, it's not one of those stupid fucking movies, and she has all the powers, and that's my fault. It
is.
Yeah, but Jet, I'm gonna have you be the first person to give a rating and have any like last comments on this. But yeah, what would you rate this, and anything that you want to add to it?
Personally for me, this would be a 4.5 out of 5. Like, it's beautiful, like has actually a pretty nice message. I didn't hate literally any of the characters. The moments with him in the barbershop or him with his mom were actually very, very well done. Even the music and like the motions of it were amazing. The afterlife, the great beyond, all of it was actually pretty interesting. I would say my main problem with this though is that I felt like it's weird. I felt like they could do more with this, but it's hard to say what they could do more with it. It's just that feeling, just like, okay, something's missing, but I don't know what it is that keeps it from being a perfect movie to me.
I can see what you mean. I feel like there's parts where I kind of like felt like I wanted to look at my phone or kind of like not pay attention, and I also feel too that like
no, I never had a feeling like that because the movie kept me interested the entire time. Yeah. I will say between this and Wonder Woman, this wins. Especially with so
wow,
much.
Really? What? Out of left field with that opinion. Holy shit.
Yeah, god damn, Jay. It's controversial.
Calm down.
Oh, you're saying, Jay?
Well, I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong?
But it's like that idea is like, I'm gonna say something controversial. This movie was better than Wonder Woman. Well, fucking yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
No, but I said with this one did its like whole message, like, because the thing is, Wonder Woman and this had around kind of the same message, like you said. This one blows that shit out of the fucking water, and at least it's the better fucking movie. Sorry to say this. Yeah. I can see myself watching this more than once, which I did.
I'm good.
I watched it twice already.
I'm good. I don't need to see this again.
Yeah, man.
It's also like a joke for better. Like with Wonder Woman, it was corny. It's corny as shit. But if you're gonna do a corny movie, I'm sorry. You also have to be. I feel like for it to be corny, you also have to be either a romantic movie or like a comedy. It was neither. So like the corniness just felt off. With this one, it wasn't really corny, but it was fun to watch. Mm-hmm. Like it had funny ass jokes. Like that subway scene with the Slurpee almost made me gag.
Oh my god, I died.
That's so gross. That was awesome. No. Yeah, dude. I'm right there with you. I'll have Alan be the last person to give a rating, but like for me to wrap up my whole thing is like what I liked about this was the fact that I had fun, I was laughing, but then at the same time like it had tonal shifts, and yet the tonal shifts were not too different than what it was originally. So it's almost like both tones were going out throughout the entire movie, where I'm like, oh, this is fun. Oh man, life is fucked up, bro. And just like I kind of stayed there the entire time, and I was able like that actually kept my attention because there's two sides of my brain that if there is a part of me that's kind of like, okay, this is not sad anymore. There's the other part that's being entertained. And then if it goes vice versa, I'm thinking that way. So I loved it. I love the voice acting. I love the music. I'm not even a jazz fan to that extent, but god damn, the music's so good in this fucking movie. Love the instruments. I love so much that they show the strings and the notes and the piano. And it just like how it's all so authentically accurate to how it would sound. I actually used to play a little bit of piano, and seeing his fingers do his fucking thing, I'm like, oh my god, that's how you would play it. Like everything is so accurate. It's like the person who made this or animated this must have been a huge music fan, and like that man putting two of your passions together, animation and music or whatever the case may be, so beautiful, so fucking amazing. This is a 5 out of 5. Double Toast Wise is better than sex. I love this movie, but I will not watch this again because I'm sick of feeling like shit when I watch movies. I watch to escape. This did not let me have an escape. If you guys are going through something, like legit, I like to put this warning out there a little bit, and hopefully, I don't deter somebody from enjoying a good movie. But like, I'm going through some emotional shit. Like Christmas sucks, 2020 fucking sucked. Dealing with a past death or whatever, and it's like this movie you don't want to watch when you're going through something. I'm actually serious. I'm not trying to make a joke. I'm not trying to do whatever. It's like you really want to avoid something like this, especially around Christmas where you got like seasonal depression and fucking corona depression. You do not want to watch this.
Have you seen Inside Out?
No, and because I don't want to deal with it. Like,
I mean, it's actually about the same writers that did this movie.
Honestly, I was thinking about that. I'm like, this is a very similar thing. I've never seen Inside Out because it was a situation where the reason I bring up the whole thing of animated whatever is because I kind of avoid a lot of animated movies for that exact reason of like, yeah, I don't really want to watch something that would be considered more for kids, and that's why I brought up the earlier statement because I am in the wrong, so I know that feeling, and I feel like so people need to break out of that because like. If I was still staying in that same, it was Utopia that actually broke me out of that mentality because I just avoided animated features for the longest time until I just sat down and watched them. Like, oh no, this movie's actually fantastic.
Yeah, like Jet made me watch Up, and the beginning of Up, dude, it fucking hurt. Like that really fucking hurt. I hate that beginning. And then like, I mean, we're gonna get somewhat off topic, but like Grave of the Fireflies, the Studio Ghibli movie, the anime movie, whatever. That I do not ever want to feel that in a fucking movie ever again. Like I really, really don't. That shit was fucked up. So, yeah, guys, avoid this if you're an emotional motherfucker like me. Because I'm a crybaby motherfucker, especially nowadays. It just
like,
is what it is.
We didn't really talk about this too much, but technically there was also no villains in this movie either.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that till you just said it right now.
And like the one character who could, quotation, maybe be a villain, I gotta be honest, I found his character like
I love that dude.
To watch. Like his voice like really matched with his whole fucking character. Like he was so pleasant to listen to.
Is he the villain or is he just doing his job?
It's Terry time. Like what? Your voice is so much fucking fun. Actually, everyone's voice in like The Great Before and The Great Beyond were actually pretty fun.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx is so fucking good. God, there's so I like I said, guys, I fucking love this movie. But you can love something and not want to rewatch it, and this is definitely that for me. But Alan, last words on your rating, sir.
This was one of those movies where I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it because it was very similar to Coco, where it's like, hey, we're gonna do this afterlife. It's gonna be about music. And I was just like, well, again, it was one of those things where it's like I always talk about like, hey, you don't denote something as kids because it's insulting. But I myself had to get that mentality because I was like, I don't really like animated features that much. But everyone I've watched has been fantastic. So it's like it's not that mentality because I watch so much live action stuff. I would prefer that. So sitting down and watching this, I was like, wow, this is really, really good. And I was easily able to take myself out of the mentality of this is a kid's product because it never talked down to anybody that was watching. It never said, oh, we're going to do stupid shit and have dance numbers. Like for a movie that's entirely about music, there was never a dance sequence. Like, and I was like, wow, this is because they're trying their best to tell a story, and they tell the story that's like, yeah, you've heard the story before. This isn't a quote unquote unique story, but it's the amount of effort they put into making everything fit. The animation fits the actual theme of the movie. The characters are going on this adventure, and I was talking about like two buddies, like I love how there's no meandering in this movie. Every single goal has a step-by-step fashion to get to that goal, and once they get to that goal, another obstacle appears for them to get to the goal. Like, oh, we gotta be at this point by 6:30. So during that time, we gotta do this, but then we gotta go do this. It felt like a checklist to go from place to place, and it never felt like, guys, why are you sitting around? There's a time clock. It's like, no, it's important we get from here to here. So all the craziness happens on the way fits within the confines of the movie. So I was just going like, okay, good. There's no fat to trim. This was the perfect length. I only wish it was a little bit longer because I feel like one of the characters did it, but I've had arguments with people where it just might be me that feels that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the only reason is like I would give this a 9.5, which is the closest thing I'll ever give to perfect. I don't believe in perfect ratings. That's just the thing for me. The reason I knock it down to 9 is I do feel like the main character, Joe Gardner, didn't get as much development as 22 did, and that did make me a little bit mad because he's the main character. He's the person we're supposed to be following. And I feel like they washed over it one too many times for me to give this like the closest thing to perfect. So this is definitely one of the best movies that come out this year.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I know we're talking about, emotional stuff, and I don't want to get emotional again with you guys, but, Madman Mars in the chat says, watching Soul
No, don't
made me...
acknowledge him, man.
He said,
that guy's been
watching
talking
Soul...
about ass for the last hour.
He said, watching Soul made me want to eat sausage fingers. That's all I was thinking about him playing the piano. His fingers look like sausages. So...
Don't acknowledge him.
I love you, Gary.
Like seriously, he's been saying that. He's repeated that like 8 fucking times, and he only repeated that afterwards because he spent the last hour and a half talking about how Captain Marvel and Gal Gadot don't have an ass. Like, stop giving this guy a fucking time of day.
But yeah, Ryan Watson, thank you for the bits, by the way. He says, I'll also bring up the 2D animated Pixar short that got released on Disney Plus too called Bar.
It was okay.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I should have checked that out. Because
it was okay. Short. It's like 5-6 minutes. It's very, very quick. I think it was just like, hey, we could also do 2D.
But you know what else can do 2D though?
What?
The Metropolis Collective.
I was gonna say before you go, there's something Ryan, and this will be quick. There's something Ryan said earlier in the chat, and I just wanted to. Cause there's a lot of people that like animation. He's like saying that animation isn't a genre.
No,
and
I agree.
I was looking this up. I was like, it's a medium to tell a story. However, I feel like it's a situation where because of the cultural zeitgeist, that the words would change, not necessarily definitions, but meaning. Where it's like, I do think it is a genre because there's a certain way animated movies tell their story. Because the whole point of a genre is like when you think about like an action movie versus a comedy, there are certain ways they tell their stories. Now, either one of those genres can have those two things in there, but there's a certain way an action movie tells its story versus a comedy. Same thing with animated. Like I said, this isn't the first time we've had the story about live your life. Literally, the fucking Wonder Woman has almost the same message.
Or Click.
It's just done way poorly. But its story progression and plot takes very different tones to an animated feature. So I do think that animation is a genre because when you're talking about animated movie, it is very different to how they progress their plot versus a live action movie.
Yeah, no, I think Click was very similar to doing same message or whatever.
Yeah, Click was the same way, but and a lot of people are disagreeing with you that it's a style, but I don't think so because it is a way that you can do because you can have different. It is a genre, but there's also subgenres. Subgenre of an anime movie like for this is a drama, but you wouldn't call this a drama. You call this an animated feature.
Well, you look at something like, but you look at Anomalisa, that was a drama, and that was animated.
Again, look at what would you call Wonder Woman? You wouldn't call it a comic book movie because comic is very similar to a medium where it's like this is where
you would call it action adventure though, and
you call it an action adventure movie, exactly.
Mm-hmm. But you wouldn't call it live action adventure, would you?
No, because for instance, like, even calling it a comic book movie. Comic book movie fits into more you're saying. Comic is just a medium because
actually,
you put a story on paper.
I like to go, and I know this is an old school mentality, but you're as old as me, so you remember this. Where would you find Soul at the movie theater, or not movie theater, the movie store, like Hollywood Video or Blockbuster? Like, you know how they have like those things like horror, action adventure, blah blah. Like, where would you find this?
I mean, it probably would be under kids, or it would be other kids or family, or I don't know if they had an animated one because it's been 20 fucking years. So I'm assuming they had a kids section. I feel like it would have been there.
See, and like I feel the same way. I feel like it could be underneath kids, But I consider that a genre. I don't think animation's a genre because I remember seeing animated movies in action adventure sometimes. I remember what was that movie? How to Shit on Your Dragon? Or what the fuck?
How to Shit on Your Dragon? Really? You got everything else? You got to Gary too much. It's How to Train Your Dragon.
how to fuck your dragon?
Oh, fuck, but it's something in Lurker, but
That's
if
a
you
completely
basically...
different genre.
Yeah.
What's up?
No,
That's
how to fuck your
completely different
dragon.
genre.
Yeah, you
Actually,
find that
Jet, you're the animation guru here. Am I right or is the world right?
Yes.
No, like legit. Like, do you feel like animation is a genre or just a style?
It's honestly, it's really hard to say. It really depends on who you're asking. Personally, I feel like it's a style.
Yeah, I can see that too. I kind of agree with that, and I agree with Ryan.
And the thing is, brought up, it's like if you did The Godfather in animated form, it'd be the same movie. You wouldn't, because short of you rotoscoping it and you literally just drawing over the frames, you would tell the story differently. Because, and look at every single live action adaptation of an anime. It like Death Note, for instance. Death Note, you could easily tell as a movie, and the movie came out and it's very different because it's telling they picked the live action, they picked the genre, they picked the stuff they focused on, told a different story than the animated feature. Even the movies. Look at Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell is a movie. But then when they did live action and they literally did it to prove your whole fucking Godfather thing, look at the Ghost in the Shell movie live action versus the animated movie. It's scene for scene, but they're not the same. Because as a result of it being live action, it changes the genre that it's in. It's now become something else. So it's like
bad writers.
Yeah, I mean, I see what
Right.
you mean. I
No,
can
it's
agree.
not
Somewhat.
writing, they use the same lines of dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm looking at the chat too. You know, Lucro's animation style, not genre. Yeah, so they kind of agree. Game Boy Daddy. Oh, fucking god damn it, Game Boy. Lucro.
Okay, Nick.
Wait, what'd you say? Your thing's all loud, or what?
I said, are you okay?
No, yeah, I'm just reading the thing because he said, "Daddy, would you like some sausage?" And I fucking accidentally read that shit last week, and I almost redid it again. Fucking
Stop
stupid.
listening to him or Gary.
Tundra Muck, yeah, I don't want your dragon. Look here, they use different style choices to tell the same story. Yeah, so like that's the thing. Like, and I know Alan read those. I thought these are different ones, but I'm doing a bunch of shit on the other end over here. But yeah, no, as far as like what those things are, as far as like if it's a style or whatever the case may be, I have seen more adult versions of animation, and that's the only reason why I won't say it's a genre, because I guarantee you, if a kid was walking around and says, "Oh, this Annalisa thing looks kind of cool," and they went home and watched that, holy fuck, there'd be some questions.
Yeah, but
You know
you,
what I mean?
can't. I know, but like you sit there and say it's an animated movie, but that's the whole misnomer that I was talking about earlier of like animation doesn't mean it's for kids, and I think that's the problem that people are having, where it's like, yeah, oh, it's Grave of the Fireflies, it's an animated movie. It's your
Ooh,
fault for
yeah.
thinking that means it's a kids movie. That's your fault. That's not the movie. That's not the fucking genre's fault.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm also thinking too, by the way, of like, oh man, like that, Grave of the Fireflies is so bad and Soul is so bad, whatever. But I'm like, yeah, look at Bambi and all the other, like Land Before Time, all these other movies that make people cry. Like, dude,
I just
stop
find
making
it
kids
miserable.
cry.
I will never watch that movie again.
Yeah, no, that shit's fucking rough, dude. So yeah,
So again, you do the subgenre. It's drama, comedy, stuff like that.
exactly. I can imagine like Land Before Time being right next to
Just
American
have,
Beauty.
just have people thought, what was it, Watership Down was just a kids movie.
Yo, yeah, that movie's fucked up, dude. Like someone said that in the chat,
look,
we brought it up in here too, but yeah.
I'm gonna say straight up, Lego Movie Part 1 is horribly violent if you think about it.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Yeah, fucking everything.
People are getting murdered left and right.
putting them right back on. Ryan, Plague Dogs, bro.
That
Dude,
sounds bad from the fucking title.
bro, this one. Yeah, Corey brought this up on the show. Like, for one, I'm telling you guys, and I don't know what the fuck it is, just the way it looks is sad. Look how dire that looks, dude. Like, I mean,
That's the art style you use if you're gonna be killing some motherfuckers.
yeah, dude.
Yeah,
like,
I'm good.
Like, dude, can you tell how fucked up that is, Alan, just by looking at it? Like, just
I mean, I could tell with the amount of effort they put into the teeth. I'm good. It's called Plague Dogs. I bet I could figure it out.
yeah, dude. Oh, that fucking thing. Yeah. Also, have you got? Okay, this is the last one I'm talking about. Have you guys ever heard this show? I think it's called Animal Farthing Woods.
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay, so honestly, I actually don't want to show this, to be honest.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it right now, and I'm like, that's fucked up. Yeah, so it's a cartoon show. I think it's Canadian, by the way. So
Oh, that's
Alan,
my wife's. It's
No,
not my fault.
No, actually,
Well,
it's
Ryan's in the
UK.
chat. Blame him. He's the fucking. Oh, he said British. Good. It's not ours. It's those other motherfuckers.
Well, no, because you guys have PSAs over there that are fucking insane, Alan. So
I've
Canada's
never
not off
actually
the
seen
hook.
those. Maybe they're on cable and I just stopped watching cable at that point. I actually didn't see those until DT brought them up.
Yeah, but I can show you one still. So I'm looking over here, and it's like these really, and it looks nice the way it's animated or drawn or whatever. It looks pretty cool, but it's so many deaths in this show. Like, and I mean like really crucial ones. Like there's like a family of like these mice or whatever. And like, you know, it's like, oh, I love you. Okay, I'm gonna go. All right, bye, baby. And she's running, and a diesel runs her over in front of the husband, mice or mouse, whatever, and like guts and gore and blood.
Yeah,
just...
I'm good, buddy. Oh, well, you know what? Just to make sure we don't get depressed, a horrible version of this, and by horrible I just mean bad in general. Happy Tree Friends.
Oh God, yeah.
That is just blood and gore for blood and gore's sake. And
Remember the episode with the changing the light bulb?
Oh,
I'm
Jesus.
sure it was some horribly violent thing where she fucking explodes. Like I remember people loving that shit when I was in fucking high school, and then they would show me this. I'm like, and they're all laughing. I'm like, this is horrible. Like this is just bad. Like this isn't like even like funny. This is just mean spirited. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? It's animated.
I used to watch it when I was younger, literally just because it was animated. Like I didn't know like why people were so obsessed with it until I actually watched it. I was like, oh, this isn't the fun, happy-go-lucky thing I thought it was. It's basically just people getting killed every episode. Two creatures getting killed. Like, oh, okay.
But they got away with it because it was animated, so people thought it was for kids, and they called it Happy Tree Friends, so people wouldn't notice by names. Because you say the name Plague Dogs, you're like, oh, that sounds pretty fucked up. Happy Tree Friends, that sounds wonderful. But then you watch it, you're like, oh, this person just got strangled. This person just broke a mirror, sliced this dude's throat, grabbed the fucking entrails, wrapped it around their neck, and now it's hanging them. Like, fuck this, and never watching this again.
Yeah. I was one of those kids who was just like, oh, I think my mom will find this pretty interesting. So I showed my mom the episode with the lemonade stand and the light bulb. So the light bulb one is pretty famous because it has this one character who's an amputee who also like does like handiwork, changing a light bulb using a ladder. He's up the ladder, right? Changing this light bulb with his teeth. Something happens with the ladder. It falls. So he's just there, like holding onto the light bulb with his teeth.
Okay.
And then basically the light bulb breaks and the glass, like the glass shards go all in his fucking mouth and shit, and also drop. So he's basically falling on a whole bunch of glass with teeth, with his mouth just covered in a whole bunch of glass, and it gets worse from there. It ends up with him like running into like a fish tank too, and it's just a mess.
That doesn't sound.
That's what I mean. It's like it was mean spirited, but again, it was the reason people were so interested in it because it was counterculture to what typical animated features are like. Cute animals. I mean, Ryan brought up Itchy and Scratchy. He said it's Itchy and Scratchy at the rails. I'm like, no, it's Itchy and Scratchy if they show blood.
Yeah.
Because Itchy and Scratchy is pretty fucking violent, but they didn't show blood because they're not fucking nuts. But this is a situation where everyone thinks animated stuff is for kids, so they literally did everything they could, from cute animals to the name to the style that they fucking chose, the genre they put it in, so that people will think, oh, animated is for kids, and that's how they were like, oh my god, this is what kids stuff should be. This is so grown up and for adults. No, it's just mean spirited nonsense.
Yeah, but I will say though, Alan, before we get out of here, I just want to ask you for one thing, man. Okay,
no.
Can I just ask you for one thing? Can't I ask you for one thing, Alan?
No, you have a podcast, and you have all
thing?
this. You have all this, like you have a house, you have a podcast, you have all this stuff in your life. You have enough. You don't need a fucking thing.
I just want to ask you to tell the people where to find you on the Metropolis Collective. Just one thing. I just ask you for one thing.
You get to that's a.
I want to ask for one thing.
She's fucking Israeli, and you went with an Indian accent. At least you're in the same genre.
Can I go for the one thing, Alan? Can you tell me about the Metropolis Collective?
I'm
going all over the place with this fucking accent.
You're going all over the world with that fucking accent. Jesus Christ. I think you're Australian for a minute. Anyway.
Tell the people.
So, yeah. Basically, so people, I should probably stop putting my handles on in the chat or whatever. But basically, follow me on Facebook because I'm doing a lot of tags and posts from the Metropolis Collective. That's where you'll find me, Ganja, and Ruthless. We're part of the Illuminati, where we're focusing more on politics. And for the time being, we're on hiatus just because for the holidays, we want to give everyone a break and stuff like that. So in the meantime, check out some of the backlog of some of the stuff that's going on. Some people are still doing their stuff. Our Content Corner is still going live every Tuesday. The Munis Podcast and Sports Pod are on hiatus as well, but they have a backlog of episodes you can check out for over the year as far as K-pop and sports. And yeah, just basically drop a like, and when we get back in the first week of January, we're gonna have a lot more content coming back.
Yeah, man. No, it's gonna be cool. I can't wait to see what you guys do. I hope you guys do more live stuff. I was a huge fan of the way that worked. So, people, if you guys follow them, make sure to yell at them constantly and say, "Do live, goddammit!" Make sure to tell.
Okay, we'll do
people
it live.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way you guys should fucking do it. But here's the thing, though, guys. We're getting out here. Danger Monk. Did I say that right?
That was racist.
Well, no, I wasn't trying to be racist. I just fucked up his name. But here's the thing,
You,
though.
you literally said a bunch of racial slurs in a row.
No, I didn't. What are you trying to say? Damn.
Oh, Ganja Monk.
What?
I almost said Ganja Monk. That's the thing. I'm so fucking stupid. I'm like gonna call this guy, whatever. I know you're saying Jamie Tudd, but I don't know if they're even gonna say thank you for this goddamn raid. But I know one person that will, and it's Chris Herman. He's a great guy, and I want to throw that at him because I love him. And you tell him that. You tell Mr. Herman that we all love him. He's a great dude. But enjoy that. But we're gonna get out of here. So with that said,
Be sure to ask him where he got his name from.
No, please don't do that. I felt stupid last time.
Make sure Nick, he knows Nick sent you.
But here's the thing, guys. We out of here. You can actually go and share our highlights when they actually go up. That's my fault. I'm fucking stupid. But the Discord, go follow us right now. Hang out with us at Discord after hours. We're gonna be chilling, watching music videos, watching movies. Goodbye, Merry Christmas. We'll see y'all tomorrow. And there's that raid. Enjoy that raid. And we're done. Bye bye.